Peterson never entered the school building after hearing confessed shooter Nicholas Cruz open fire. In December, the sheriff's office said it planned to change its policies on how deputies respond to active shooters. The policy changes included altering language to indicate officers shall attempt to enter the scene and intervene rather than may. The previous policy stated if real-time intelligence exists, the sole deputy or a team of deputies may enter the area and or structure to preserve life. A supervisor's approval or on-site observation is not required for this decision. Israel, speaking during a news conference after news of his firing, said the motive was about politics, not about Parkland. Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash also features Smart Rewards, a price stabilization mechanism, and a way to encourage long-term holding. Long-term holders are key to the project's success. You can earn Smart Rewards on any address for which you hold the private keys, which holds at least 1,000 Smart for 1 month and does not make any outgoing transactions during that time. Smart Rewards are distributed every 47,500 blocks to all eligible addresses. Learn more at smartcash.cc. Reuters reports President Donald Trump said on Friday he would not declare a national emergency right now to end a standoff over border security that has idled large swaths of the U.S. government, all but guaranteeing that he will preside over the longest shutdown in U.S. history. The dispute has disrupted everything from air travel to tax collection and suspended pay for 800,000 government workers. Trump has repeatedly described the situation at the U.S.-Mexico border as a humanitarian crisis, as speculation has increased this week that he would circumvent Congress to begin building his signature wall, a move that would be sure to draw a court challenge from Democrats who say the barrier would be barbaric and ineffective. Instead, the president urged lawmakers to provide him with $5.7 billion he is seeking for border security. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Markets went into a frenzy today after the price of money suddenly skyrocketed to $90 a dollar. Onion reporter spoke to economics professor Mark Cosgrave about the soaring cost of U.S. currency and the impact of increasingly unpredictable dollar-to-dollar rates.
Right now, money prices are steeply rising with no signs of slowing down. This morning alone, the price of dollars nearly tripled, with 1 cent worth approximately $6. That's exponentially higher than even a week ago when money was trading at roughly $53 on the dollar. To put it bluntly, we're now in the midst of a national economic crisis.
According to Cosgrave, the abrupt spike in dollar prices initially caused many Americans to hold on to their money, hoping that the $90 cost of dollars would soon dip back down. But as prices continued to climb, investors panicked and began purchasing as much money as possible.
But with the cost of quarters hitting $4.97 and the $5 bill jumping to a 12-year high of $372, the days when you could get $30 or $40 for just a couple of bucks are unfortunately long gone.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live and the live Saturday edition of the show. Welcome to it. We'll take your calls and thoughts about whatever's on your mind tonight. As we always do, the toll-free number for you to join us is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, that's 855-450-3733. We've also got our Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. And I'm happy to announce that it's a record. The government shutdown. Trump has done it. He has absolutely done it. And, it's hard for me to get excited about what a politician does because I don't like them. I really don't like politicians. And I don't really much care for Trump, but you know what?
It's not like the government's really shut down, though. It's just non-essential services, which apparently means paying their paychecks.
Well, right. Which apparently means 800,000 government employees, half of which are expected to show up to work for no pay.
And why do we have non-essential government employees?
What's even the point of this?
Wait, so now we come to find out that we are being taxed to pay for employees who are just simply not essential to the operation of the government.
Whenever I talk about eliminating this government program or that government program, people certainly act like these things are essential.
And now they're saying, well, we sent home the non-essential employees. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute.
And who decides, right? Because they always pick the most, some of them at least, the most essential seeming employees to send home. They've shut down the passport offices. I mean, if there's
that
one thing
essential,
right? Like, I mean, we'd like to see the government get rid of passports the whole world around, right? But as long as they exist, then it does seem like something the federal government ought to continue doing. But
as long as somebody's going to stand at a border and go, "Papers, please," you're going to have to get papers.
Well, right, and in this case, the Border Patrol is considered essential, but they're not getting paid. So half of these guys, 800,000 is the amount that it affects, which I've heard estimates that that's around 25% of the government.
Wow.
400,000 of them, it depends on how you run the numbers. There's like full-time employees, there's part-time employees.
Right. And contractors.
And all that. So 400,000 of them, including the Border Patrol, are being told, well, you're essential, so you need to come to work, but we don't have any money for you. You're going to get it, we promise. And
they probably will.
They passed two bills now to ensure it, so I'm pretty sure that it'll happen.
But has Trump signed them?
Oh, good question.
Yeah. Is he essential?
He's essential to the shutdown because unless they can get a veto override against him.
I'm pretty sure Congress isn't essential. I don't think they've done much of anything for, I don't know, like 6 or 8 years now.
So this has been going on now for 3 weeks. It was Friday was day number 21, as I understand it. So today is now the longest running so-called government shutdown in American history. It has bested during the Clinton administration. There was one that lasted for 21 days.
I remember that.
Hasn't really been anything that was close to that since. And now 22 days and counting. So Trump does have the award for longest government semi-shutdown. And yes, if Darryl were here, he would point out this may actually end up costing more money in the long run. I mean, they're already being sued, apparently, by some of these workers' unions, the government workers' unions, if you want to call them workers, the government employees.
How good's the loss?
How do you sue the Congress, and it's set out in the Constitution what the process is for dispersing funds.
Right.
If it's following that process, you're going to go into a U.S. court and sue them for following the process that's laid out in the Constitution?
Well,
I don't understand how you do that.
They promised to pay, and they didn't. So there's a contract violation. Even if it's not
was that
down.
In the contract?
I don't know if it's written down or not, but when you start working for somebody, you presume you're going to get paid. If you worked and did not get paid, there's a suit. Now, that's the thing is they're going to get paid in all likelihood before these suits ever see a judge.
They claim
the judge is essential.
I just pulled the story up here from Yahoo Finance. Aggrieved federal workers are suing the U.S. government over the shutdown, arguing that working without pay is a violation of the Constitution.
Oh, it's because they're being forced to work without pay, which, by the way, I agree with. I think
they're not being forced. They can go home. They can quit.
They can quit.
It's either work without pay or quit.
Yeah, I've got a problem with the work without pay or quit thing. I think it should be like, look, we can't pay you, so therefore you don't have to come into work until we can pay you.
Well, many of them are calling out. So
that's what I heard about the TSA workers.
Mass call-outs.
Yeah.
Starting last week, throughout the week, like it was 170 workers at JFK alone.
Oh man,
we're calling out. The TSA was playing it off like it's a minimal impact to security. This is no big deal, which is just proof that you didn't really need those people in the first place, right?
Oh, it's definitely a minimal impact to security, but it will take you a lot longer to get through the line.
Sure, that's true. Lawsuit filed on Wednesday on behalf of 5 anonymous federal workers argues that President Trump, as well as the heads of 4 agencies, are forcing them to work without pay in violation of the 13th Amendment. The plaintiffs who
involuntary servitude. I wonder if these people are IRS agents who then see the tax return that I was forced to fill out in involuntary servitude. I mean, the government's all about involuntary servitude.
Sure.
When I have to buy medical insurance, whether I would have bought medical insurance or not, it is an act that I was not necessarily involuntary. When I have to put on a seatbelt, that's an act that's involuntary. Sorry, that doesn't fly in my book.
The plaintiffs.
Now, are any of these is the IRS one of the agencies that has people furloughed? Because that would be ironic. That would
I
be
know they're
ironic.
collecting stuff out of people's taxes. The taxes are coming out of their paycheck.
I don't have the list in front of me, but there is a list. If you pull it up, there's several. There are a bunch of agencies that this is affecting, including the entire Department of Justice. So all the federal government, federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, DHS.
I know the Coast Guard, they had said.
Coast Guard, right, because apparently they moved their funding under DHS instead of under the military.
Right.
So they're the one military branch that's being hit by this. So there's a lot of them, actually, and it's interesting that it's affecting.
I bet your Coast Guard has to go out.
Yep, they sure do.
Yep.
So we can continue here. The plaintiffs who work for Department of Justice, Department of Transportation, Agriculture, and Homeland Security also claim the government is violating the Fifth Amendment as well by prohibiting the taking on of outside jobs like driving for Uber. Although, didn't I hear that there was, I didn't see this actual story, but I heard there was some sort of notice being handed out, and I don't remember which department it was, that was actually recommending people go and take side jobs. Like suggesting that they try to find extra work.
Not a bad suggestion.
And of course, that suggests that these agencies don't expect to have their money anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the TSA agents were calling out of work before they missed a paycheck. Because they hadn't missed a paycheck until Friday. Yesterday was the first paycheck that they missed. So they were like expecting to not get the paycheck and figuring, well, if I'm not getting paid Friday, I better start working now because you got the rent to pay, you got bills to pay, the kids' mouths to feed. That doesn't stop.
I would presume that a landlord, in many cases, would just wait on the rent. And this is pretty extenuating circumstances.
It is.
A bank
maybe might not wait on the mortgage, though.
Well,
the banks
not without a fine, maybe.
The banks are doing their part here, right? Because these are essentially federal government agencies.
It's their government; they might as well.
So, they are extending themselves to some extent. I actually looked today. TD Bank, Key Bank, at least a couple that I'm familiar with, have notices right at the top of their website. When I clicked on the notice just to see, what are the qualifications, TD will front basically up to $1,000. Not a lot of money. That's not going to last more than
it could help.
Right, it'll help a little bit. Now, this is only for people that, are getting regular checks from the department. It may even require a direct deposit to be already turned on. So I'm not sure what all the details are there. But basically, if you're a federal government worker and you've been getting paid direct deposit into a major bank, there's a good chance that bank's going to cover at least for a little while. And then they'll reclaim it later on. So it won't be a subsidy.
That's going to be dicey.
Yeah. Well, if they're getting the auto pay, then the bank's expecting to be covered.
Right.
It would be different if they were hoping the client would come back in with the extra money from elsewhere. So that they're not going to cover that. Toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE. We got more on the Border Patrol. They're working without pay, apparently. It is Free Talk Live.
Ike was such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up, and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh! My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
The digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash also features Smart Rewards, a price stabilization mechanism, and a way to encourage long-term holding. Long-term holders are key to the project's success. You can earn Smart Rewards on any address for which you hold the private keys, which holds at least 1,000 Smart for 1 month and does not make any outgoing transactions during that time. Smart Rewards are distributed every 47,500 blocks to all eligible addresses. Learn more at smartcash.cc.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, Hey, who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video or audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live, live Saturday edition of the show. You can dial in. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. As I'm looking at Mark's beautiful new dye job here, if you are on our webcam over at twitch.lrn.fm, you can see that Mark received a very nice dye job of... Why are you moving that? You were already on the camera.
I'm not really... this is not the greatest camera. All right, go ahead.
I've already taught you how to move the camera.
I was
Mark.
doing that.
Right. So anyway,
baby.
It looks pretty good.
Tilt it upwards a little bit.
Well, yeah,
so
you can't see the hair
better.
as good. There you go.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's it turned out to be more of a green, I would say, than a blue, but it's not a bad green.
Was it supposed to be blue?
The blue was a color that was mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was supposed to be embarrassing. And it's successful.
Oh, you haven't been embarrassed by it, have you?
Oh yeah, I haven't gone to jiu-jitsu yet.
Really?
If I tried to roll with somebody, I'd leave a blue streak on their gi.
No,
yes,
it's not that bad, is it?
Oh yes.
Oh wow.
When I go in the shower, it's purple rain.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I guess you don't want to do that.
No.
But anyway, you can check out the video of that. It is up right now on the Free Talk Live YouTube channel. So just go to youtube.freetalklive.com. I made a time-lapse video showing the whole process.
Love it.
So, I mean, apparently I can't exercise, and now you can see why social justice warriors are fat.
Are you saying you're a social justice warrior?
I have the hair color of one, I can tell you that much.
I see. I don't know, man. I think it's hip. I think it looks good, and I think you secretly enjoyed it. I think you were secretly really enjoying the...
Which part did I secretly enjoy the most?
Being the whole thing, the whole salon process.
Like just being in a salon? I could have just...
being pampered.
Right, that's it.
Okay.
Being pampered.
Pampering.
I could have gone for a massage if that's what I wanted, to be pampered. I mean...
Anyway, you can see the whole thing over at youtube.freetalklive.com. That was something that we did because you promised that you were going to dye your hair if we raised a bunch of money for a Ugandan orphanage.
Yep.
To purchase land for the orphanage that our listeners already donated to the actual orphanage being built. That got built. That was done. 2-story orphanage. Looks great.
Yep.
People, have a roof over their head now and place to learn and stuff like that. But you decided, Mark, you wanted to help them out a little further so they didn't have to do begging constantly.
Right. So they've got a nice building, but they're house poor. They don't have any kind of income. So they needed, I figured the best thing, I talked to the guy who runs the place, and the best thing was to do a little farming. They got plenty of labor.
Right. Well, yeah.
So let them plant, let them harvest, and then they can sell the stuff that they grow, and then they can get some different types of food. They can get a whole variety of things, and also they can use the extra money for school fees. So they get an education and some food, and that's really all they need.
Right. So the land, the money that was raised during the Christmas season was a success. Took a little longer than we thought for the goal of your hair, but you decided to graciously do it anyway. So good for you.
I have big donors, right, that I need to keep happy, and this way I'm very much a man of my word.
Yeah.
And if I say I'm willing to do something ridiculous in the future, then fine. They know I'm going to do it.
So there you go. Check it out over at hope.freetalklive.com. That's where you can go to see more about the fundraiser. And then again, to watch the video, you can go to youtube.freetalklive.com. It's the latest video up there right now. Let's go to the phones, to the fun. Your calls and thoughts, welcome. We started out talking about the record that was set by this so-called government shutdown.
Greatest shutdown in the history of presidents ever.
It's huge.
Huge shutdown. It's huge.
So kudos to Trump for this one. He got it right. Let's go to Matt in Indianapolis. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello.
Hey there, how are you guys doing?
Good. What's on your mind, Matt?
Good. Well, I was just calling. I was listening, talking about the shutdown and everything, and I wanted to know what you guys thought about the border wall and the physical barrier. Do you think that it's just the shutdown?
Do I think it's just the shutdown? I don't understand
just a shutdown.
The shutdown. Do you think it's a just cause?
Oh, do I think it's a just cause?
In order to pressure Congress to fund the border wall. Vin, Mark and I are always here on this topic. I'd love to have you weigh in on the border wall, if you don't mind.
I believe it was Patton who said permanent fortifications are a manifestation of human stupidity. So I don't know. I mean, you could go with the general's opinion of a wall. I was raised in Southern California, and I was raised in the city that I'm in. I think high levels of immigration. My own grandparents, great grandparents, just kind of walked across the border, the Mexican side of my family. I don't think that a border wall. First off, I'm dubious about being able to build a wall across that entire border.
No, they could always use eminent domain and take some people's land that's on this side of the Rio Grande.
I'm saying if they had all the land.
Okay.
I'm saying if they got easements on the whole thing, they did eminent domain.
They're going right through the middle of an Indian tribes nation.
Yeah, I don't think, even with that, I don't think that we have the resources to be able to patrol.
So that's the thing is that if you ask a prison guard, hey, what good is that fence?
The military doesn't do nothing all day.
What's that?
He says the military doesn't do nothing all day.
So then we should militarize the border.
I wouldn't propose to know what the military does all day.
Oh, he just hung up.
But I guess that maybe he wants the military to watch the border. But a prison guard is going to say, a fence is an impediment to escape.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the guy sitting on the other side in the guard shack with the gun that'll blow you off of it.
Right.
That actually prevents it. And we can't afford that.
No.
And so basically what you're doing is you're just waiting for an opportunity, it's just an opportunity for people to go out there and, cut a big old hole in the fence or whatever it is. If it's going to be a slat barrier, fine, you cut the slats down and walk across.
Ladders, develop a ladder system, tunnels underneath.
They've already done the tunneling for years.
I know they've got battery-powered reciprocating saws. I don't know if they have battery-powered angle grinders. I would imagine they do. I'll look that up here just in a second, but we're humans. We can cut things down relatively quickly. I can't. If I had a plug, so a generator and an angle cutter, the things I've seen these slat walls, I would say I could get through it in 10 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
10 minutes? Who cares?
Yeah.
Well, they could double it up, right? They could put 2 slats right next to one another.
They could put landmines if they want.
Yeah, what they would have to do is, I think that they would have to have automated machine guns or something. That would be the only
that's horrifying.
way.
Right.
And this is what I'm saying. That
how about the migratory beasts that are there? Right. The megafauna just getting gunned down. I'm sorry. It's ill-advised.
It's a dumb idea. It's one
symbolic.
Of the dumb. It is symbolic.
It is symbolic,
absolutely.
and in being symbolic, that means you should think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But the wall should be in your imagination.
But
I think shouldn't be real.
It's also an intelligence test, I think,
to see who's smart enough to get over the wall, or what?
To see who's smart enough to believe that the wall is actually a thing and it's not just a political maneuver on the part of Donald Trump to do other things, which is that's all it is. It's just it's a MacGuffin. You know what I mean? It's a political maneuver,
and as a result, I'm loving it. I gotta say,
it too.
I hate the idea of the wall. Don't support that at all. I'd like to see the government abolished entirely. But if Trump manages to have up to 20% or whatever it is, 25%, 10%, I don't care what it is, 800,000 government employees, if 400,000 of them aren't coming to work and the other 400 are pissed because they've got to come to work without payment, that's a win.
Milwaukee's got a cordless cutoff grinder right here.
We're coming up here in moments.
$100.
It's Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
A doctor's office visit for erectile dysfunction on my smartphone? That's crazy.
No, that's the best edpill.com. ED can affect 40% of men by age 40. Now, there's a 95% less expensive option than Viagra. After a live confidential video consult with a fully licensed doctor, we ship medicines fast, free, and direct in discreet packaging. Read thousands of 5-star reviews. Click thebestedpill.com. That's THE bestedpill.com, the online doctor's office.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Should you be able to earn an honest living free from senseless government interference? The Institute for Justice thinks so. That's why we've spent years defending hard-working men and women from pointless government regulations. Nationwide, IJ has created opportunity by reducing government power. But there is still more work to be done. Visit our website today at ij.org. Let IJ take care of the government so you can take care of your business.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll free and take control of the airwaves here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Also, we've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. Phones are loaded up. We will get to your calls and thoughts. By the way, with you tonight, it's Ian.
And Vin.
And Mark.
Free Talk Live is brought to you by Bitcoin.com, your premier source for everything Bitcoin related. They can help you get started, learn the basics about cryptocurrency. Bitcoin has now been with us for a decade. It celebrated its 10th birthday in the first week of this year, and so happy birthday, belated birthday at this point to Bitcoin. We've been following it for many years here on Free Talk Live. I know, Vin, you are certainly a fan of cryptocurrencies.
Love it.
You're always tweeting about it over at twitter.com/VinArmani.
Yes, sir.
And that's where folks can follow you. You also have your own show, by the way.
I do. Destination Unknown every Friday.
Back for 2019, too.
Yes, we're
right?
back. We're back, yeah.
Destination Unknown, VinArmani.com. Check him out there. And check out Bitcoin.com for the latest on Bitcoin. They've got a whole news section that's updated every single day with fresh information from across the globe. They've got their own Bitcoin forums. You can engage with the community, ask questions, that kind of thing. Learn more at Bitcoin.com as we go back to your calls and thoughts. More on the shutdown on the way. Government workers suing their own employer at this point. And we can tell you more about that. Plus, the Border Patrol going without pay, all while Trump is making a big deal about border security. And so the question, of course, that I continue to ask is, how long would you show up at your job without pay? Mm-hmm. How many weeks would you continue, even if you really loved it? How long would you keep going for? Let's go to Larry in Indianapolis listening to WIBC. Go ahead, Larry.
Hey, you know all these people out there hating on Trump? They put me in the mind of divorced women. When they get divorced from their husband, they'll go with anybody that'll talk dirty about their ex-husband. That's what they act like. They act like they want Trump to come and beat them or be their lover or something. That's the kind of passion that I see across the board on these cable news like MSNBC, CNN, and all the nightly news, PBS. When they talk about Trump, they act like they're so scared and they want him to beat them and do something to him. It's just stupid. I mean, they're just like divorced women. And, you know, I think that the border deal is really nothing because these people, most of them have wherewithal. When they keep regurgitating the same thing about, oh, they're not being paid. Oh, they're not being paid. Well, what about when some union goes on strike or somebody else goes on strike? Don't you think they have provisions in their contract to apprise them of what could happen? And they're grown people. You cannot impair the performance of a contract. That's one of our oldest rulings that we have in this country.
So you're saying you think that within the federal government workers' contract that there's a provision for a potential shutdown and a potential furlough? You think that exists?
I'm sure that that does exist.
It's happened enough times. It should, right?
It should
exist.
Yeah,
that it does exist. That they know from past performance that could happen in the operation of their job. So all this pity pat and stuff. What the real deal is, Mark and Ian, is that we as people have lost our sense of nationalism and pride in our country.
Well, good. I support people losing their sense of nationalism and pride because it's a bunch of crap.
Well, I have that. I have that instilled in me. So I think that what we're saying is that we will go to Guatemala or Nicaragua and get their worst criminals and bring them and give them preference over our own citizens who are hurting and have a safety net set up for them. They take over $150 billion out of our safety net programs every year. So anybody that says
so you're not against welfare. You're in favor
no,
of welfare.
I'm not against it because it's necessary because of the statutes that are being enacted against poor people. I'm here for that. We need those systems, and we don't.
So hold on, wait a minute. Wait. You said it's necessary because of the statutes enacted against poor people. Are you talking about like government regulations, licensing?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. When you say statutory, that's when you take away your rights and freedoms.
Well, right. So what you're saying is, and thank you for the call, Larry. I appreciate it. Ultimately, my understanding of that was, well, they're legislating against poor people, meaning, and it's true.
Yeah, absolutely. They always have.
Every regulation, every license that, if you want to start your own business, for instance, every regulation and license, you got to jump through all those hoops. Those are all laws that affect disproportionately the poor. Because if you're rich, then no big deal. Hire the attorneys. They'll jump through all the hoops. They'll, you need a new stovetop for your restaurant you're going to open. No problem. You got $200,000. No problem. Get it done. Hire the contractors.
That's right.
If you're a poor person, you can't open a restaurant in your own house. You can't open a hair salon in your own house. You can't, in most cities at least. In most places, you can't do those things. So they're licensing against, they're regulating against the poor. So Larry's saying, well, we need welfare because they're taking away all of our opportunities. So just give us a check. If you're not going to let us, let poor people make a living for themselves, then just give us a check. And I can't blame him for saying that.
I mean, I don't think that it's. I don't really get the equivalence there. I think that the answer is, well, let's repeal the regulations. I mean, let's not be having the regulations and then stealing to give checks out. Like, that's just adding insult to
injury. You don't need the government to break your leg and then hand you a crutch, and then you're supposed to feel grateful about it. I mean, it's ridiculous.
But they do that. That's what they want to do. I mean, they want you to want them and feel they're necessary.
Honestly, the biggest scam that that's been portrayed against people is this sort of leftist notion of more government programs. The fact is that the state has always been a tool of those with wealth and power. And you're not going to stop that from happening. You might, roll the dice and scramble the board, and then there's new wealthy and powerful people in charge. But you're not going to be able to actually demonstrate where poor people, people below the median are suddenly taking over, the reins of power, and then doing something for folks like us.
Well, nobody who's in power is likely to not succumb to it, right? So it'd be very, very hard. It doesn't matter what your economic strata or status is. Given the reins of power, it is likely to be wielded in whatever way benefits your friends and punishes your enemies. That's
power
what
corrupts.
Politicians do.
And absolute power corrupts absolutely.
And there's plenty of that. But
we've seen it happen to the libertarians here in New Hampshire, which is disturbing. We've seen so-called libertarians, purported anarchists even, totally flip. There's one in particular that I'm thinking of that was elected. She moved here. She's been on our show as a guest in the past a number of times.
I know who you're talking about.
And her name's Amanda Bolden, and she was a self-professed anarchist when she moved here, and is now a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat who it's not like she's pretending to be a Democrat.
Progressive.
Or if she is pretending, she's doing a real good job. She's gone deep.
She's very convincing.
Because she has come out against libertarians. It's not like, I used to be libertarian, I still like them, which is what one of them said. So there was two of them that went Democrat. One of them was still friendly with the libertarians. Amanda is on the attack against them and has completely flipped.
Well, that was the Lord Acton. I mean, that absolute power.
It's proof.
Lord Acton. I mean, he was on it, and because he was a huge historian, and the reason why that came out was because he was saying what the truth was about the men in the Catholic Church, and he was like, you go down the line throughout history, every time somebody gets power, even if it's persuasive, he said, power corrupts.
Yep. And it's not like there's a whole lot of power in the state representative seats in New Hampshire.
Matter.
There's 400 of these people. So literally, she's 1/400th of the entire vote. But yet, it went straight to her head. Now, to be fair, it doesn't happen that much, I don't think, to all of them. So, for instance, the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is an organization that does ratings every single year. They do a through F, and there's actually below F, which is constitutional threat. So A through F and then CT for constitutional threat. They do a rating of all 400 state reps, all 24 state senators. And so there are, in fact, the guy who got, I think it was Liberty Legislator of the Year is the name of the award. So they pick one of the A-plus rated reps. They pick one of them who's the most outstanding. Free Talk Live listener, longtime supporter, Mike Sylvia. He was the one who was chosen. Also, Mark Warden, who's a Free Talk Live sponsor. I
like Mark.
Longtime listener. He won that 2 years. So some of them have managed to hold pretty steady and not let the power get to them. But, man, it's sad when it happens, and it has happened. There's more coming up here. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Introducing Reveal from GCNLife.com. Beverly Hills dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman invented Reveal, which contains polypeptides with natural botanicals and no parabens, sulfates, silicones, or dyes for a salon-quality hair growth product. Reveal. Here's Dr. Newman.
I have treated a lot of patients who lose their hair and they lose their confidence. We've created a unique set of polypeptides, which we call HPT6. The HPT6 contains the polypeptides from 6 different plants. The scalp infusion treatment should be used on wet or dry scalp. The Reveal hair care system is designed to be used for men and women alike.
Get Reveal at GCNLife.com with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So try Reveal today at GCNLife.com or 844-443-6637. Plus a discount up to 25% off for Reveal at GCNLife.com or 844-443-6637.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
There are basically 2 types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can join us right here. The toll-free number where you can take control of the airwaves here on this live Saturday edition is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. By the way, big thanks to David R. Jeffries, who is a Free Talk Live Gold Amplifier, meaning he gives $10, $10 per month to the Free Talk Live AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. And that is a way that you, if you like what we're doing here, which is to say talking about the ideas of liberty and freedom and cryptocurrency and peace on broadcast radio on over 190 radio stations, including a new one tonight that I'm not going to announce until I'm 100% sure that they're on. It's a big one, and I don't want to say they're here and then have some sort of satellite delivery issue come in. Because if it's always the first week, I always give it that first week and then check in and make sure, hey, call the program director. Hey, did everything work out all right? It did? Great. We'll say hello officially the next week. So there's a big city in the U.S., I would say top 10 probably. It's a big one.
Absolutely,
that we're on starting tonight. So I'm very excited about that. We'll tell you more hopefully next week about it. But it's the AMP program that makes that possible. It was the AMP program that has paid to send us to the Talkers New Media Seminar, which is the only talk radio convention left standing. There used to be a couple of them every year, and then that what was it, Radio and Records? They went out of business. They did one, and there was like another organization that tried to do one a couple of years, and then they stopped. So Talkers is the only one that is left standing, and we've been going to that now since I think 2005. So every single year, it's been our Free Talk Live amplifiers who've helped make that possible, as well as just advertising directly to radio program directors. And being at those conventions and being in the radio publications, it makes a difference. It makes it so the program directors are aware that we're out there. And, of course, the ones that have been around for a while, they know that we're the longest-running show, believe it or not, the longest-running nighttime. So in our day part, because we're a night show, Eastern time, the longest-running show in the 7 to 10 p.m. evening time slot, in that time slot.
Wow!
At this point, we've outlasted all of the competition. So
that's been a few years.
It's been a few years that's been like that.
I had no idea.
Yeah. So
I mean, some of the youngest guys in radio have one of the longest running shows on in our time slot.
That's awesome.
So just go to amp.freetalklive.com. You can help make us more effective at doing this outreach to stations. We also outreach to internet listeners. We're doing some advertising on internet shows. So you can go to amp.freetalklive.com. You get some cool perks if you do that as well. You can get the full list of them over at ampamp.freetalklive.com. And yes, you can use PayPal, credit card, and Bitcoin BTC at amp.freetalklive.com. To the phones, to the fun. We can talk more about the government suing itself, the government employees suing the government over these furloughs. But Ron is in New York. You're on. Go ahead.
Hi.
Hey, you're on the air.
Okay. So, two things. First of all, in terms of the government shutdown, in terms of the employees that aren't getting pay, what I don't get is why don't they just introduce a bill to pay, these workers while the government is shut down? Because to my knowledge, that's completely possible. But number two,
the reason would be is that Congress would have to pass it, and likely the Democrats want to keep the pressure on the president. And the other part is that the president would have to sign it, and you can only presume that he would because it hasn't been presented at this point.
Yeah. But then my other thing is I have a prediction about 2020.
Well, before you go on about that, Ron, I'm not a accountant or anything like that, but as I understand it, this has to do with a budget, meaning that they have to allocate money in the budget to pay these people. So what you're saying is, can't they do some extra budgetal thing to specially, allocate money to these people?
Doesn't work that way.
And maybe they can't. Maybe
it doesn't work that way.
Right.
This is a constitutional issue. I mean, this is straight out of the Constitution.
Congress has the purse strings.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so what you've got here is essentially, as you pointed out, they're playing political football with these people's jobs. And I love it. I think it's fantastic because I think that all these bureaucrats need to know that you're working for an organization that can just pull the carpet right out from under you at any moment that they want to. Yeah, you thought you got a job with the government and that it was the sweet benefits, and the benefits are pretty sweet from what I understand.
And the pay's pretty high for the feds.
And the pay's high, and you got this sweetheart government job and you thought you were on easy street for the rest of your life. Whew, carpet just gets pulled right out from underneath you, and now, middle of Christmas, you don't have a paycheck coming.
Hey, that's what happens when you sign up to be a henchman. When
Exactly.
What you thought that that Skeletor was just going to be great to his henchmen? You know what I mean? Come on, no, you're a henchman.
Right. Well, that's what they probably don't realize is that they're working for a criminal enterprise.
That's right.
And if the criminal gang wants to do whatever they want to do with your paycheck, they're going to do it. And you either go along with it. In this case, the criminal gang is not going to hunt you down if you try to quit. So if they quit their jobs and go and work in the productive economy, they're going to be all right.
They're not going to be. They're not going to be all right because then the henchmen are coming for their paycheck now.
Well, there's that, yeah.
Because now these henchmen see they're being paid in taxes. If they went into like the rest of us, they would have to pay taxes. Right now,
they pay it out of their paycheck, but
that's getting paid less of the loot.
That's true.
You're just getting a smaller share of the loot.
You're going from a direct recipient of the loot to a person who's being looted by the government.
Absolutely.
But at least they would be in the productive economy doing something useful. And I'm not saying all the federal jobs are useless. There's probably a use for some of the things that they do, like, the National Weather Service or something like that. I mean, that's kind of... Some people like that one.
People like the parks folks.
Yeah, so parks would exist without the government.
Sure.
In fact,
people like to hike.
Yeah, there's parks around here that are taken care of by volunteer organizations and all that. So anyway, Ron, I don't think they can do what you're talking about, but go ahead with your next point.
So I have a prediction about 2020.
Okay.
So yesterday, I think Tulsi Gabbard, the Hawaii lady, got in. Now you may be thinking, okay, well, why is he talking about it?
Now, who's this Hawaii lady?
Tulsi Gabbard, the
so
representative.
She's a congresswoman.
Okay.
She's a congresswoman. So you may be thinking, oh, well, why am I obsessing over this since she's a part of the two parties that are ruining this country? Well, I think history is going to repeat itself because I think she is going to lose in the Democratic primary because of the fact that nobody knows who. And she doesn't have enough name recognition.
So what is she all about? Like, what are you bringing her up for?
She's anti-war.
Okay.
Heavily.
Yeah, she's anti-war. So here's what I think she's going to do. She's going to, eventually, she's not going to win in the Democratic primary, but she's going to do what Mike Gravel did in 2008, and she's going to run for the Libertarian nomination, unless she continues to be in Congress. But if she doesn't, she's going to run for the Libertarian nomination after she loses the Democratic nomination, and then she's going to lose to like a Bob Barr-like candidate.
Okay. That's interesting, I guess. I don't know. Again, I don't know much about her.
Combat veteran.
Yeah, she's actually...
So she's an anti-war veteran. That's good.
Yes.
That's powerful.
Yeah, that's a good position to be
Because
coming
the
from.
first thing that anybody does is if you say, you're anti-war, it's like, you hate the troops.
You didn't serve.
Right, and that's the first thing. Serve who? The politicians?
Ron, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. I guess we'll see if your prediction comes true there.
Interesting. Also, Kamala Harris just announced
who's
as
that?
well. She's a senator from California. She was the former... Attorney General there.
Ooh, bad
news. It's looking like there's going to be the field mostly women.
You're talking about for the Dems?
For the Dems, mostly.
Is someone going to challenge Trump though?
No, absolutely not. Mostly women, and both of those women that were just mentioned are both Indian Americans, by the way. Both half
Native American Indian.
No. Both half Indians, like
from India.
From India.
Gotcha.
Which is interesting. It's very interesting.
So basically you're saying that if Trump's not getting challenged, then all the purported anti-Trumpers in the Republican Party have shut up and basically disappeared? Because it wasn't
for
there
4
like
years. For 4 years.
So?
Yeah. They'll get smashed. Are you kidding me? There's no Republican that can come out and
even though he's basically going against some of his base, right? Like if you think about it, Trump wants to be endorsed by the police, but yet is the FBI going to endorse Trump?
Seems unlikely.
After they went without a paycheck from him?
The FBI wasn't going to endorse
Patrol?
Trump anyway.
Right.
He's said all kinds of bad things about them for quite some time.
The Border Patrol, they're going without a paycheck right now. I mean, are you going to endorse the guy who basically kicked you to the curb and used you as a political football? I don't know.
People's memories are really short.
True.
Really
True, and it's
short.
only 2019.
Really short.
So I guess
people usually vote for like one or two. Vote for a party for like one or two reasons. this is the important issue for me, and I will vote, for this party for this reason. And that's kind of it.
We got time for you if you want to jump in here. Got hour number 2 on the way next. We got a little bit more here on the story from the government shutdown. Federal workers suing their employer, and they say it's a constitutional suit. They claim they're being forced to work.
Crazy.
855 450 free like freedom. I don't think they really understand what force means. There's more coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
Pain in my neck, back, and shoulders has really gotten worse.
Relief for body pain is here with Sunny Bay heating pads.
Well, the last thing I want is to take another pill, so what's so good about Sunny Bay heating pads?
Sunny Bay heating pads, made by Biomed DB Design right here in the USA, come in all sizes. Our extra large microwavable heating pad for back pain is designed to be large enough to cover your entire back. It's also perfect to wrap around your legs, knees, or shoulder and neck.
But I need to know they're good quality.
Of course, Sunny Bay heating pads and pillows are often an Amazon choice, and it's easy and most affordable when you purchase your Sunny Bay heating pads right from our website, sunshinepillows.com, or call us 253-678-1361.
Hey, a Sunny Bay heating pad
would make a great gift, right?
Yes, and they start at just $19.99 and free shipping is available. So call 253-678-1361 or shop for your Sunny Bay heating pad at sunshinepillows.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Toll House Morsels, helping you create special moments and memories your family will cherish forever. Visit us at tollhouse.com. You may bake for birthdays and holidays, but why stop there? Sweeten up the rest of the year by designating monthly dessert days. Treat your family to one of their favorites or surprise them with something new. Either way, you'll create a tradition everyone will love. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, January 12th, 2019. Silver is trading at $15.60 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,288 per ounce. Smart cash is trading at 1.27 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $3,655. Antiwar.com reports the U.S. military has announced that the process of withdrawing the estimated 2,000 U.S. troops in Syria has officially begun. They say there will be no specifics reported on numbers or timelines because of operational security. This follows a week of speculation about the process and comes just a day after Pentagon officials said that there had been no change in the timeline despite John Bolton's weekend talk of making the pullout conditional. And while the military isn't giving any specifics, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights is. The observatory reported that a convoy of U.S. armored vehicles was the first of the pullout and was seen leaving the town of Rumeilien into neighboring Iraq. That the process of withdrawing from Syria involves driving into Iraq and the U.S. troops are all on the side of Syria closest to the Iraqi border, it once again raises questions of why the pullout is expected to take months instead of just a few hours that such a trip would take. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's fans.fppradio.com. UPI reports in one of his first acts as governor, Florida's Ron DeSantis on Friday ordered the suspension of Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel, who faced blame for his deputy's response to a shooting at Parkland High School that left 17 people dead. Governor DeSantis appointed former Coral Springs Police Sergeant Gregory Toney to replace Israel. Toney is the county's first African-American sheriff. Citing shootings at Fort Lauderdale International Airport in 2017 and Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in 2018, the governor said, Sheriff Israel has repeatedly failed and has demonstrated a pattern of poor leadership, adding these incidents demonstrate Sheriff Israel's repeated incompetence and neglect of duty. In July, a group of survivors and parents from the high school sued Israel along with other school and sheriff's officials for failing to protect students and faculty at the school. The attorney representing the plaintiff said law enforcement choked on February 14th, the day of the shooting. In that case, the judge ruled the critical question the court analyzes is whether defendants had a constitutional duty to protect plaintiffs from the actions of the shooter. For such a duty to exist on the part of defendants, plaintiffs would have to be considered to be in custody. Retired school resource officer Scott Peterson never entered the school building after hearing confessed shooter Nicholas Cruz open fire. In December, the sheriff's office said it planned to change its policies on how deputies respond to active shooters. The policy changes included altering language to indicate officers shall attempt to enter the scene and intervene rather than may. The previous policy stated if real-time intelligence exists, the sole deputy or a team of deputies may enter the area and or structure to preserve life. A supervisor's approval or on-site observation is not required for this decision. Israel, speaking during a news conference after news of his firing, said the motive was about politics, not about Parkland. Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash also features Smart Rewards, a price stabilization mechanism, and a way to encourage long-term holding. Long-term holders are key to the project's success. You can earn Smart Rewards on any address for which you hold the private keys, which holds at least 1,000 Smart for 1 month and does not make any outgoing transactions during that time. Smart Rewards are distributed every 47,500 blocks to all eligible addresses. Learn more at smartcash.cc. Reuters reports President Donald Trump said on Friday he would not declare a national emergency right now to end a standoff over border security that has idled large swaths of the U.S. government, all but guaranteeing that he will preside over the longest shutdown in U.S. history. The dispute has disrupted everything from air travel to tax collection and suspended pay for 800,000 government workers. Trump has repeatedly described the situation at the U.S.-Mexico border as a humanitarian crisis, as speculation has increased this week that he would circumvent Congress to begin building his signature wall, a move that would be sure to draw a court challenge from Democrats who say the barrier would be barbaric and ineffective. Instead, the president urged lawmakers to provide him with $5.7 billion he is seeking for border security. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
A man thanks God he's not sexually attracted to children, and Popeye's home is burglarized. Week in and week out, you come back like a housebroken Pomeranian, loyal to the bitter end. Good boy. This is the Onion Week in Review. Georgia's Cobb County Evangelical Hospital held its 5th annual Walk to Cure Gayness today, reportedly drawing thousands of participants to raise funds that would cure sufferers of their homosexuality and make gayness a thing of the past. Hospital administrators told reporters that funding from the walk would go into providing new state-of-the-art gayness treatment equipment, along with remodeling the hospital's physical therapy center, which has spent nearly 14 years reteaching gay men how to walk properly.
Oh God, I was a goner. But as you can see, I'm now happily married to a woman, and as of next month, I will have been in full remission for 2 whole years. I'm just so very, very happy. Everything's really good in my life.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. We're launching into the second hour of this live Saturday edition of the show. With you in the studio here tonight, it's Ian.
And Vin.
And Mark.
You can join us toll free. Bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Also, the Discord on-air call-in line rooms are open and available to you over at discord.lrn.fm as we go right into your calls and thoughts. Bad Slave starting things out here this hour, and then more on the way about the government shutdown, now a record length of time, and lawsuits being filed by the government employees. Bad Slave, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I want to comment about that very subject as well. But first thing I want to say is, listen, Mark.
Yes, sir.
I'm disappointed here.
Oh, well, you're not the first.
you have the shortest haircut I have ever seen. So to minimize the green hair effect, I think.
He actually got his hair cut within the last 2 days because we
today.
did this on Thursday, I think it was. We had your hair dyed. So it was its full length at that time. So
I generally have a pretty short cropped haircut. This is shorter than it normally is, and I don't feel bad about it.
Well, I can feel bad about it for you.
For listeners just tuning in, you're referencing Mark's hair. It has been dyed kind of an aqua greenish blue, mostly green, I would say.
Yeah, wow.
And I think it looks good. Derek J., our flaming gay former co-host, said he loves it, Mark. He thinks it's fantastic.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. And if the gay guy's saying it looks good,
it looks good.
It looks good.
Then it looks gay.
And well, you're comfortable with your sexuality, aren't you?
He's got style. He's got style, though, man. He's got swagger. Yeah,
all the way.
Sure. Yeah,
he's the most stylish guy I've ever known.
Absolutely.
That guy, if he's not in a suit, he's getting in bed, basically. Anyway, Bad Slave, go ahead.
Yeah, well, about the shutdown, the fact is to me, if they left us with a limited constitutional authority, it would be some number of orders of magnitude smaller.
Yeah, it'd probably be like 1%. Like whatever the Constitution specifies is probably a fraction of a fraction.
That's what I think too, and I just can't tolerate the idea that everybody is just perfectly happy with all of this government that we have that was supposed to be this tiny little thing that only dealt mostly with the states and didn't deal with the rest of us. There shouldn't be but some very tiny portion of laws that actually apply to individuals. The laws that apply to individuals were expected to be part of the state government.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need the federal government to legislate against murder or rape. Those laws already exist in every state.
But they do have federal murder laws.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It is almost completely duplication of the laws that applies at the federal level towards individuals. The idea that we need this much central government is idiotic, and people ought to be paying attention to that fact.
Well, unfortunately, the news media wants. Yeah, the news media wants to make this about the employees. They want to make this about the poor federal workers. Oh, those poor people! Look how badly they're being treated by the President Trump, and that's where they're focusing on. And it's going to make people not pay attention to the fact that their lives aren't any worse off because these federal employees aren't getting paid.
Fair point.
That's exactly bullcrap.
Thank you, Bad Slate, for the call. I appreciate hearing from you tonight. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Now you've got news headlines here about the bureaucrats suing the federal government. Plaintiffs in a lawsuit filed Wednesday. This according to Yahoo Finance, filed by an attorney on behalf of apparently anonymous federal workers, 5 of them, saying that it is violating the 13th Amendment, which prohibits involuntary servitude, and violates the 5th Amendment in some way. Michael Cater, the attorney involved, told Yahoo Finance, quote, "Our plaintiffs are just concerned there are no signs of this thing ending anytime soon."
I don't understand how it violates. Isn't the 5th Amendment against self-incrimination? How on earth does it violate the 5th Amendment?
Doesn't explain. I guess you'd have to read the suit.
Very weird.
The ideal outcome, says the attorney, is that we'd ask the court to essentially clear 2 things. We're not asking for money damages. We're only asking the court to say that it is unlawful, that it violates the statute in the Constitution for the government to require people to work without pay. Furthermore, they are arguing that it is, quote, unlawful for the government when it's not paying its employees to impose limits on their ability to find outside employment. So I'm not sure what they mean by those limits. If the limit is we expect you to come to work if you want to get paid down the line, that would be maybe seen as a limit by an employee who feels like, well, how am I going to apply for a job if I'm here 9 to 5 every single day?
The difficulty here, I think, is that it's not that these that their case doesn't sound sound to me. It's not that these employees are working without getting paid. It's that their pay period has changed.
That's right.
Without a sort of on a contractual basis,
That's
right? So uncontractually, their pay period changed. There's not going to be a constitutional argument to that because the Constitution doesn't care whether a federal employee gets paid every 2 weeks or every month or every quarter or every year. It wouldn't make a difference to them.
Cater said further that federal workers are essentially stuck in a situation where, quote, not only are you not getting any money, but you can't get any money, he says. Again, presuming you are continuing to work, but many of these employees are calling in. They're calling out sick. They're saying, I can't make it in, and then they're looking for the work.
Right. These are the people that are supposedly necessary employees.
Almost 800,000 federal workers are likely to have missed their paycheck on Friday. They did. And more lawsuits are being brought forward as opposition to the shutdown mounts. The law firm in question here has also filed a temporary restraining order this week, asking that the federal district court in D.C., quote, immediately prohibit the federal government from continuing to violate employee rights, unquote.
Okay, let's walk through this for just a second, because the court definitely cannot order them to be paid. That the court can't go above
to force the budget to.
They can't.
Right.
So the only
if the powers are separate but equal.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing that the court can do then is that the court can say, if this has not been passed, you cannot ask these people to come into work. Hey, then I'm all for this lawsuit. So that means that basically a government shutdown is legit. That
and legal.
All it literally shuts down. There's nobody working.
So what you're saying is this could backfire if the courts rule in favor of the shutdown.
Well, it has to, because that's the only option. There is not an option constitutionally for the court to order that the government cut these people checks.
Isn't there going to be a hardship bonus after this is done? I mean, I've read that too.
I don't know.
At this point, I mean,
who knows? I didn't hear about that. I heard that they're getting that there's a bill that says they're going to get paid in full.
Who knows what the unions have put into these contracts? Maybe there is a hardship bonus. I don't know. That's a good question. If you know about that, you want to jump in, feel free to dial in toll free at 855-450-FREE. The National Air Traffic Controllers Association has also taken a similar route by suing the government for unlawfully depriving them of their wages without due process. According to a press release, they have also filed a temporary restraining order.
That's a little scary. Air traffic controllers not getting that's one where those are definitely the job
those
they
are
do
jobs that would exist, right?
They're jobs that would exist. Those are those are what I would call necessary as it stands. But the question is, would the airlines not foot the bill to completely privatize air traffic control?
Well, I mean, somebody's already footing the bill, right? I mean, whether it's coming out of ticket sales or whether it's coming from the IRS, I don't know where the NTS or National Air Traffic Controllers Association.
NTSB, I think.
It says here that TSA workers are getting a $500 bonus for hardship bonus.
Afterwards, once they finally come back.
I think they're getting it now.
No, nobody's getting a check.
There's more coming up here in moments. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can share your thoughts on the government shutdown or whatever's on your mind here on Free Talk Live.
Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses on the setup page, and then load the app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. AnyPay.global.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash is building a foundation that can support daily transactions for people everywhere. One feature that sets Smart Cash apart is the Smart Hive governance model and how the community can vote to fund the best projects with block rewards stored in the Smart Hive project treasury. Unlike other cryptocurrencies with voting systems, Smart Cash allows everyone to participate. One smart equals one vote. Learn more at smartcash.cc. We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can dial in toll-free to control of the airwaves here. You can bring up whatever you want. We've been talking about the government shutdown, lawsuits being filed apparently left and right by government workers' unions and just attorneys looking for a paycheck that have, government workers that are more than happy to sign on to a lawsuit. So that's all happening. With you in the studio tonight, by the way, it's Ian.
And Vin.
And Mark.
As this semi-government shutdown enters its 22nd day, meaning it is now the longest government shutdown of its type on record, beating out the previous longest record holder, which was in the 1990s under the Bill Clinton administration. So Trump has, I would say, a feather in his cap because of this.
Huge.
Yeah. And by the way, Free Talk Live brought to you by AnyPay.global. If you are ready to start accepting cryptocurrency at your point of sale, you got a real life business with a cash register and you want to take Bitcoin, maybe Dash, or some others. There's a few of them that you can take through AnyPay. AnyPay.global will make it easy. If you've got a tablet already at the register, you're halfway done. All you got to do is get the AnyPay app. If it's an Android tablet, you can just go straight to the Android App Store or Play Store and search for AnyPay Take Crypto. Don't download the other AnyPay app. We don't know what that thing does. There's another one with the same name and a similar logo. But the one called Take Crypto, that's the one you want. You load that app up. You can actually register right there in the app. So it takes away some of the other steps. If you're iOS, you can't do this yet. We're waiting on the iOS app. But you can still, if you're on iOS, you can use the Safari web browser to set that up and make it work. So go to anypay.global. You can get started there no matter what operating system you're using. That's anypay.global. You just put your cryptocurrency destination addresses in the settings page, load the app on the device at the register, and that's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency. We're talking about maybe if you already have your own crypto wallet on your phone, 10-minute setup time. I mean, it's not a long process.
I don't think of that.
If you don't already have a crypto wallet, you're going to have to spend a little extra time downloading a wallet for yourself and getting that set up, and that doesn't take too long. So maybe 20 minutes at that point.
That makes it available. I mean, everybody who wants to spend cryptocurrency in town is going to come to you.
Yeah, 20 minutes, you're still filling out the credit card company's application form if you want to get credit cards.
That's right.
And then, of course, you got to wait until they approve you, and good luck, and maybe you won't get approved, and who knows. With AnyPay, there's no approval process. There's nobody looking over any kind of application because there is none.
It's great.
It's awesome. Anypay.global, and most importantly, it's free for people who are merchants. So if you can just start accepting crypto, and there's no fees that AnyPay is collecting on that. Let's go to your calls and thoughts. More on the lawsuits facing the federal government from various workers, unions, etc. Glenn, you're on in Virginia. Listening in Virginia. What part of Virginia are you in tonight, Glenn?
Southeastern.
Welcome.
AM 790 WNIS.
Awesome.
Hey,
excellent. Go ahead.
Hey, I just had one question about the federal workers who are laid off during all this insanity.
Furloughed is the correct word.
So these guys are not getting their paychecks. That means that their premiums for their health insurance are not being paid. I'm assuming the government portion isn't being paid. So are these people now, not able to get their prescriptions, not able to afford their doctors when they're sick? Are they being turned down? What's happening to these poor people?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I had not considered that before.
Yeah, I would presume that the doctors and healthcare at this point is probably just making do the same way that banks and a variety of other people who, everybody reads the news, they know what's going on, that they're not just cut adrift, but it's possible.
I mean, I have a feeling that since they're government workers, that it's probably all paid out of like a lump fund or something like that. And it's probably the money's coming from, it's like all one lump fund, I would assume.
I have found a story about it, Glenn.
Okay.
According to ABC News, published yesterday, federal employees won't need to worry about their health insurance, according to the Office of Personnel Management in a blog post. Recently, both the online frequently asked questions and the Health Insurance Industries Trade Association confirm that coverage through the Federal Employment's Health Benefits (FEHB) program will continue, even if some federal agencies affected by the shutdown aren't issuing those paychecks or paying premiums.
That's what I figured.
The shutdown should not impact their coverage, said a spokesperson for that. So
because again, they're not these. The idea that government workers are paid and then they pay into their insurance from that and then they pay taxes. No, they don't. This is all part of the loot that has been taken.
Yeah.
So, yes, it says on their pay stub that they paid taxes. No, they just got a little less loot. Yeah, it says that they paid into their premium on their health insurance. No, they didn't. That was paid in a huge lump sum. This is just a line on a thing. They just got less loot than they otherwise would have gotten. It's a big shell game, and
yeah, I don't feel bad for them. I'm sorry. I mean, you called them poor workers, Glenn, and I'm sorry. I just don't feel bad for people who benefit from extortion. I mean, that's basically what happens. That's how these guys are getting paid day in and day out, is all the rest of us have our lives threatened by the federal government, and if we don't do what they're telling us to do, which is pay up, then you go into a prison cell, and if you don't want to go to the prison cell, they'll shoot you.
Yeah, but there's some of these people who are like the TSA employees who are not making a whole lot of money, who are just kind of getting by paycheck to paycheck.
That's not my problem. They could go and get by paycheck to paycheck at a productive job where they're actually working in the productive economy, where they're actually providing a useful service, because the TSA is one of the most useless of government bureaucracies.
But Ian,
yeah, but where do you find these jobs? Our economy doesn't have these jobs anymore.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
Well, that's one of the big problems.
Here, no, the thing is this. if this productive work is not out there, then where is the money coming from to pay these people? Because clearly there is wealth being created in the economy because taxes are being taken from the productive people in order to pay these guys to yell at me at the airport for no apparent reason. Because that's all they do is yell at people. That's all they do.
Well, there's a lot of the 1%. A lot of that money goes to the 1%. The income gap in this country.
A lot of the
is
tax
getting
money
wider
goes to the 1%. I think you have it backwards. It's actually taken from the 1% and then distributed to these federal workers, as well as taken from the rest of us as well.
Now, if you go back to some of the original dialogues, Jefferson had some really interesting thoughts after seeing the French Revolution. He was really concerned about the maldistribution of wealth in this country.
Sure.
So if there's the pie, there's a finite amount of money out there. So if everybody makes enough to...
There is a finite amount of money, but there's not a finite amount of wealth. Wealth can continue to increase given the freedom in order to create new things, new ideas, new businesses, to bring these things to marketplace.
But
the
it's
wealth
finite, it's
pie
countable.
expands.
Yeah, but when somebody's making enough money to afford 30 houses, that's taking a lot of money, a lot of wealth out of the economy for people who can't even afford one.
Well, hold on. But if you can afford 30 houses, well, those 30 houses have to be built. Mm-hmm. Those are all contractors. The wood has to be cut down from out of the forests. The oil has to be taken out of the ground. It's somebody consuming and spending. It doesn't matter if they're consuming on their first house or their 30th house. That's all employment. That's how wealth is shared throughout a society.
What I'm hearing from Glenn, and if you want to stay, Glenn, we'll welcome you back because I think this is an interesting discussion. Is sort of fear or anger at rich people, right?
There's always that.
There's more coming up here in moments. It's Free Talk Live.
Everest.
At WolfHillAmmo.com, we love shotguns. We offer the best specialty shotgun ammo on the market, including our defensive combo packs for home and retreat. Our less lethal combo is good for animal control, the four-legged kind and two-legged. When lethal force is necessary, reach for our Stop 'em, Drop 'em, or our home defense combos. These 5-round packs include different heavy hitters to protect your loved ones. Visit WolfHillAmmo.com to see our great prices on these combo packs and other specialty shotgun ammo rounds. WolfHillAmmo.com.
Complement your health with hemp-derived cannabinoid oil. We've always believed that the closer to Earth, the better it is for our bodies. Our hemp-derived cannabinoid oil is phytocannabinoid rich, full spectrum, and organically grown. Finally, hemp made easy, clean, and effective. GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203. That's right, we cut through the red tape. It's now available at GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealestate.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
In a dramatic scene last night, a coalition of the nation's damaged women staged a drunken, tear-soaked march on the Capitol just after 2 a.m. Jane Carmichael has more.
Thank you, Brooke. The damaged women began their protest yesterday afternoon, marching on the National Mall at about 4 p.m., and then marching away furious, saying they were done with Congress once and for all. But then they came back again late last night, insisting that someone in Washington listen to them for once. The late-night protests started with tearful apologies, but quickly moved to anger as marchers demanded that Congress pass a bill making it illegal to say you love someone and then up and leave as soon as there's one little problem.
Why are you ignoring us? Stop ignoring us! Why don't you hear me when I talk to you? Wipe the smirk off of your face. No, come back! Come back because we think that we want you to care about us!
I don't need to pay a therapist to tell me I'm unhappy! I know I'm unhappy!
This is the Onion News Network.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. It's the live Saturday edition of the show. You can dial in toll-free here and bring up anything that you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And in the studio tonight with you, it's Ian.
And Vin.
And Mark.
Of course, you can bring up anything you want. We've been talking about the government shutdown and kind of the ramifications, and now we're seeing lawsuits coming in against the federal government. Vin, your prediction is these aren't going to succeed.
No.
That basically, even if the courts were to rule that the government had to pay, it couldn't force them to. So
absolutely not.
They're not going to, likely, is your prediction. But we had a gentleman on the line. He dropped off the line during the last break, but I thought we should continue at least for a moment and continue kind of the discussion because he was getting at this idea that it's bad that people have money, that people have more money. He gave an example of somebody with like two dozen houses or whatever. That's a bad thing. And
it's one thing to dislike rich people for being rich. It's another thing entirely to believe that we should create a bunch of miserable make-work jobs in order to somehow solve this, which is what he was suggesting as far as the TSA. He wouldn't defend the usefulness of the TSA, which is on a global scale laughed at by other industrialized nations as this bloated and pointless bureaucracy.
It's also laughed at by any security expert as well.
Right. It's a mess top to bottom, and it's not going to get any better if we keep on saying these poor brave individuals, sorry, in order to take shots at the TSA, I got to take shots to some extent at the people who work at the TSA.
Well, the only people who would say that TSA agents are some sort of poor individuals are people who do not fly on a regular basis, which I do, and I will tell you, TSA agents are some of the worst people that I have ever encountered and I hate to make blanket statements, but the thing is that they chose to do this job and these are people who get joy out of making other people's lives miserable to a great degree.
Well, this is kind of like the prison guard problem, right? It's like in the case of prison guards, you'll often find the ones that are most notable. Right. Not that they're in the majority, but the notable ones are sort of what give you the atmosphere in that particular place. And I have no doubt that working in the TSA is miserable, and I would probably be grumpy if I had to do it too, and work under those conditions for that kind of pay and all the stuff that goes into it. However, that doesn't mean that it is, just because of those things doesn't make it an efficient bureaucracy. It is not an efficient bureaucracy.
There's no such thing as an efficient bureaucracy.
Well, not yet. Perhaps there is. Perhaps there is. I mean,
there never will be as long as they
855-450-3733 tell me the efficient bureaucracy.
No one's going to call about that because as long as they're getting funded through the threat of violence, then they can always get their funding. So therefore, there's no incentive to be
until
efficient.
Trump shuts them down.
Now,
so the
case of being people, rich people, and that sort of thing. I would say that, look, I understand that it's not so cool that some people have more things than others. I get it. However, let's point out that we're all born poor.
That's right.
You come into this world buck naked. You got nothing, and no one owes you anything either.
True.
The simple fact that you were pushed out from a womb someplace on planet Earth does not mean that any rich person owns you one thing.
No, but you could be pushed out of a wealthy womb, in which case you'll probably be taken
You will be taken care of.
Should be.
That's
inherit the family business. I mean, there's a lot of new rich kids out there that squander their parents'
Absolutely.
wealth.
But there's also a lot of the richest people on the planet. I mean, Sheldon Adelson, who's 16th richest owner of Sands Corp, started his working when he was 12. He was slept on the floor of his Boston tenement, that he was raised in, and you hear that. You
love
hear
those
sorts of stories all the time.
Right. Well, so the social mobility is definitely in play still in the United States, and they don't want you to believe that. They'd much rather have the avarice. They'd much rather have the.
Well, it's useful to the politicians to have people hating rich people. We can get back into it. I want to get James on the line here in New Mexico, listening in Farmington to KENN. Go ahead, James.
Well, good evening, guys. I just had a little comments. I was listening to your discussion about TSA, and I think a lot of people get in there just to get their foot in the door with the federal government. The federal government's got the best benefits ever, because we pay for it.
That's what I've heard.
But the one thing that I wanted to mention, though, and I think that this has been discussed a little bit, and I just want to put my 2 cents worth in. Government shut down, right? But
Partially.
They haven't stopped taking my check. I'm still working.
Right.
That's right.
And they're taking taxes from me. So what that kind of tells me is that maybe they're not living within their means.
Oh, of course
Maybe we need to reset this, and we need to start putting some spending limits in and start living like everybody else does.
Well, the problem is, James, you're not going to be able to put spending limits into the government because you're not in charge, and they sure as hell aren't going to, are they?
Well, and when you put them in charge of their own destiny, we're sure as heck not going to be in charge.
Yeah.
Well, like George Carlin says, it's a small club and you're not in it.
Right. We're the government and you're not.
That's right. We're the government, and so the point is, though, without us, there is no government.
Well, wait. Hold on. What do you mean by that?
Well, because they go and they can make the rules. Whenever they create a bill, what is that? That's a charge to us, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they have all these House bills. These bills every year, they have continued to spend more and more money. They're in charge. They're in charge of whether they're going to have any term limits. So we're not going to have any term limits. They're in charge of their own salaries. They're in charge of their own dental care, health care, whatever care.
Mm-hmm.
They've got.
Hello?
Where do you go?
Politics has become a career rather than a service and a duty.
I'm not sure it ever was.
Yeah, when the hell was it a service? I mean, these people have been fleecing Americans and in every other country of the world for as long as politics has been alive.
Tens of thousands of years.
Right. You still haven't really made the argument about what you said, which I'd asked you about, which is you said something to the effect of, without us, there is no government, and I'm not really sure what that means. I mean, can you explain that?
Well, without the people and the tax dollars, without people to govern, there is no government.
Well, right. If they don't have a host on which they can feed, you're right. I mean, the tick will shrivel up and eventually it will die. But in this case, we're not going anywhere, right? Like, there's not an extinction event coming around the corner, so therefore they're going to continue. As long as people continue to believe in the state, as long as they believe that it's necessary, because people hold two conflicting beliefs, right? A lot of people, they understand that politicians are lying scum, but at the same time, every 4 years, some of those lying scum manage to trick them into thinking that they're going to change things, that if you just elect me, then I'll make this government work right. I'm a businessman.
You notice everybody runs on change? Everybody runs on change, and nothing ever changes.
It's true.
Without a monopoly of liars and thieves, how could we possibly function?
James, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you, man. Thank you. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And to tie this back around, they need specifically productive people, right?
That's right.
So, I mean, you can be a tick on a host that's dying, and that's not really that useful. You got to be on, one that's lively and, working. So they want the productive. They want to siphon off as much wealth as they possibly can from productive people. And they can get away with a certain amount. And they can keep raising that amount slowly over time, which is what they've been doing. There's a certain point at which people might buck and say, whoa, that's 90%. That's too much.
A 70% tax bracket? No.
Or they'll just become less productive. See, that happens too. That's the thing. I don't think that
They're less productive because the rich people leave. The number of rich people giving up their U.S. citizenship has skyrocketed in the last few years. And, nobody seems to realize, look, you can say all the bad things you want about rich people. Without that top 1% paying taxes, everything falls apart.
Yeah.
Well, and there's also, I think, we're not taught economics in school. And so people
correct economics.
No, people don't understand that you become wealthy by creating wealth, which means that you've created more than the sum of its parts. You've brought things together and made something new and better for everybody.
Right, and that people loved it. And then they bought it.
And anything they bought, they exchanged money for it because they considered the thing to be more valuable than the money that they had.
Yeah, more on the way here, and that's how you end up with 30 houses if that's what you're into.
That's right.
More coming up here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
You want to know the 37 items you must have to survive a crisis? Then I've got some good news for you. Former CIA officer and New York Times best-selling author Jason Hansen is now giving listeners a free copy of his book, The Escape Bag Blueprint, 37 Items You Must Have to Survive a Crisis. You can claim your copy at freeescapebook.com. Don't delay. Jason reveals the guns, knives, flashlights, and water filters that could save your life in an economic collapse or grid-down event. Get your free book today, freeescapebook.com. freeescapebook.com.
Complement your health with hemp-derived cannabinoid oil. We've always believed that the closer to Earth, the better it is for our bodies. Our hemp-derived cannabinoid oil is phytocannabinoid-rich, full-spectrum, and organically grown. Finally, hemp made easy, clean, and effective. GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203. That's right, we cut through the red tape. It's now available at GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it.
Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You may dial toll-free and take control of the airwaves here. It's the live Saturday edition of the show. And you can join us at 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can also join the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. One of the other ways for you to call in, and it sounds way better than if you're calling on the phone. So if you want to take the extra time, it's worth it, because if you sound better, sometimes you'll stay on for longer. If somebody's got a crappy phone call, it's just not going to last as long. Even if you're talking about something really interesting, sometimes I'm just like, can't take this.
Yep.
So call in on Discord. It's free to register. You just go to discord.lrn.fm. If you don't already have it, you can download it's a free app. You can download the app for whatever smart device that you're on, computer, laptop, desktop, smartphone, over at discord.lrn.fm. That's how you get into our server, and then you just join one of the top 4 call-in lines there. People are, by the way, chatting about a variety of different topics, everything from cryptocurrency to gaming and other rooms of discussion, pop culture, music and movies, that sort of stuff. It's all there, and it's operating 24/7. So during our live show, which is 7 days a week from 7 to 10 at night Eastern, you can use those call-in rooms to call into the show. But there's a bunch of other rooms on the server where people are doing text chat. Sometimes they do like a voice chat room where a bunch of the listeners will actually go in and talk to one another for a while. So it's pretty neat, and it's free. So check it out at discord.lrn.fm. We've been talking about the government so-called shutdown, which has now reached its 22nd day. Coming into in just a few hours will be day number 23. It's already a record. So kudos to Donald Trump.
Yeah, they're not going to fix it tomorrow.
No.
Nope, they sure aren't. And some of these employees are saying they're
Trump may say, I've hit the record. Let's turn everything back on. I don't know.
He might. He's definitely made the, this is worth giving him kudos for. I mean, he's done, I think, a good job here. I support this, even if it does cost more in the long run, which some people are saying that if they pay out these bonuses or whatever, and apparently the TSA is going to pay a $500 bonus relatively soon, they say, within days.
Couple days, yeah.
To their employees. So even if there are bonuses, it does cost more. It's good because it damages the reputation of the government.
It also gets people thinking of, hey, if these are non-essential services, what do we need them for? Right. And the realization that if you turned this, if airport security was handled by airports like it was prior to 9/11, then, well, you'd have airport security. It wouldn't be a problem.
It would continue.
Yeah. What's the complaint here? Federal Bureau of Prisons. Okay. So I can't say that I don't think we need a Federal Bureau of Prisons. I think that there's some, and at the very least, the people need to be imprisoned, right? Some people need to be imprisoned.
Bad, dangerous people, sure.
Right. However, there's a lot of people in prison who have never harmed anyone.
The federal government is full of drug so-called criminals who have never harmed another person.
So you'd be talking about a lot fewer prison guards. If you got rid of all the nonviolent offenders, you'd be talking about a lot fewer prison guards.
The fact is there are already federal prisoners that are being held in state-run facilities.
Yes.
When I was in jail for civil disobedience here in Cheshire County, they had a couple federal prisoners that were sitting over there in solitary.
They were probably waiting for a trial or something.
They were there temporarily, right? But they were there. So, I mean, if they really needed to have federal prisoners housed in a place, they don't have to do it themselves. There's already plenty of prison space, especially if the states were to do something like end the war on drugs and empty out their prisons of the drug war prisoners who take up a huge chunk. I asked, again, I was just in jail. I wasn't in prison, so I was there for, 58 days for civil disobedience. But I asked the warden, who happens to be a member of Law Enforcement Action Partnership, at that time it was called Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, and I asked him, how many of these people do you think actually should be here? And he said, maybe about 45% of them. And, that's an honest answer.
Most shouldn't.
Right.
And that's in his opinion.
That's in his jail, from his personal opinion. And by the way, I would recommend anybody that, questions what we're saying here about ending the war on drugs. We're not the only people saying this. Law enforcement officers, many of them retired, have come out against the war on drugs. Please visit Law Enforcement Action Partnership. Their website is leap.cc. And they've got all, you want statistics, you want information, you want, educated opinion. These guys have it. They were in the streets.
Look someplace else.
No, they're great. These guys were in the streets for years, for a long time. Look, Mark, we've got our opinions and they're fine. Right. I know. But some people, they just take it more serious when it comes from a man in a uniform. Right. I mean, the same reason you were talking about the lady who was a veteran who's now against the war. For whatever reason, people just take their opinions more seriously on the matter. We can be so well educated and have all the facts at our fingertips, but if a man in a uniform who's like, I'm a former cop, says the exact same thing, you've got a larger audience that's looking at that and taking it seriously.
Well, that's why they put them in uniforms in the first place. Right. This is a bug in the human brain.
Sure is. Whether it's a man in a police uniform or a man in a science lab or smock or lab coat. Yeah. So let's continue here with your calls and thoughts. You can bring up what you want, and then more on. Well, I shutdown. I just, as far as having opinions, facts versus morality. Look, my main statement is taxation is theft. And that extortion really is.
Extortion is a form of theft.
Is alliteration, but it's not as accurate.
Taxation, extortion is a form of theft. It's just another form of theft, so it's still fine. Yes, that much is true. It is extortion, and
but it's theft backed by violence. Right?
That is a
threat of violence,
armed robbery.
Yeah,
that's a tautology, right? Like it is in and of itself true. All you have to do is understand that the action of taxation, if performed by any organization that was not called the government, would quite simply be recognized as theft.
Yes.
So therefore, when the government does it, it's just theft.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, theft it's a fine phrase and it's very popular online, but look, it's also theft if I just take a thing that's not mine without threatening anybody, right? So taxation is extortion. That's where people take a thing from you under the threat of violence.
Right.
Meaning, not only are they taking a thing from you, but they're forcing you by the threat of violence to do what they say to do.
That's right.
They will force you to cut them the check. They're not just sneaking into your home in the middle of the night and taking your checkbook. They're actually having you do the work for them.
Sure.
So it's completely different in my mind.
And the way the human psyche works, in many cases, they well, I did it, so I guess it's voluntary.
Well, yeah, there's a crazy narrative going on out there about how, and one of the callers earlier kind of referenced it, that we're the government. Oh, no, you're not.
Not really.
Nope.
Yeah, no.
All right, let's continue here. We've got...
Even if you work for the government, you're very likely not the government.
No. Chuck is on the line in Minnesota. Chuck, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was one of the people that are saying I don't trust the government. They borrowed money for our Social Security and never paid it back, so I'm wondering if they're going to do the same to the government workers. And I don't know what your opinion is on it, but I'm not very happy with it.
I think the government workers will get paid.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. This is the Social Security was set up wrong in the first place. The money goes into the general fund. That shouldn't have been the case. They should have set up a separate fund if they were going to perform this form of
But that was
extortion.
The plan all along.
It is, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the problem. You let thieves set up the plan, and they're going to set up a thievy plan, right?
That's right.
We'll just bring Charles Ponzi in to design this.
Right.
Chuck, thanks for the call tonight, man. I appreciate it. Toll-free number 855-450 free. Let's talk to Scott. He's in Colorado watching us on YouTube. Go ahead, Scott. Hello, Scott. Colorado. Going once. Scott. Hello,
hey,
you're on the air.
Guys. Hey, I was hoping to talk today about how we could essentially make room in the whole Google and Amazon thing for smaller businesses to get a shot at some real wealth.
What do you mean by that? Make room in the whole Google and Amazon thing?
Well, I noticed that Amazon especially, but Google as well, kind of have a monopoly on Let's get skull fuck, bitch.
Oh, you can't say that on the radio. We're not going to let you do it. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've been swamped with terrible crank callers who, I don't know if they think they can actually get out the F word on the radio, but we've tried to tell them that they can't do that. We have technology that actually prevents that from happening. So congratulations, buddy. All the 5 people or however many that are watching on Twitch got to hear you say that. Because that's only the video streamers, where it's completely legal to say what you said.
That's fine.
Could hear that. So There's your little badge for you. Congratulations. Toll-free number tonight is 855-450-FREE. But let's address his issue, because sometimes they will bring up an issue. Okay. And a relatively common misunderstanding, which is to say that these technology companies are monopolies. And I saw you looking confused, Vin, because you're in the tech field.
Yes, I am.
And we hear this every now and then. It's like, Microsoft's got a monopoly. No, they don't. Amazon...
You don't hear that as much as you used to.
No, you still hear it. Amazon, you don't hear it very much generally, but people still believe this stuff. Like, just because a company is
a
popular,
market maker,
dominant,
because they earned it in a lot of cases, doesn't mean they're a monopoly. And we can explain what a monopoly actually is coming up here in moments. It's got a very specific definition, believe it or not.
It's in the word.
Hour 3's next. That's right. It's Free Talk Live.
Pain in my neck, back, and shoulders has really gotten worse.
Relief for body pain is here with Sunny Bay heating pads.
Well, the last thing I want is to take another pill, so what's so good about Sunny Bay heating pads?
Sunny Bay heating pads, made by Biomed DB Design right here in the USA, come in all sizes. Our extra large microwavable heating pad for back pain is designed to be large enough to cover your entire back. It's also perfect to wrap around your legs, knees, or shoulder and neck.
But I need to know they're good quality.
Of course, Sunny Bay heating pads and pillows are often an Amazon choice, and it's easy and most affordable when you purchase your Sunny Bay heating pads right from our website, sunshinepillows.com, or call us 253-678-1361.
Hey, a Sunny Bay heating pad
would make a great gift, right?
Yes, and they start at just $19.99 and free shipping is available. So call 253-678-1361 or shop for your Sunny Bay heating pad at sunshinepillows.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, January 12th, 2019. Silver is trading at $15.60 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,288 per ounce. Smart cash is trading at 1.27 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $3,655. Antiwar.com reports the U.S. military has announced that the process of withdrawing the estimated 2,000 U.S. troops in Syria has officially begun. They say there will be no specifics reported on numbers or timelines because of operational security. This follows a week of speculation about the process and comes just a day after Pentagon officials said that there had been no change in the timeline despite John Bolton's weekend talk of making the pullout conditional. And while the military isn't giving any specifics, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights is. The observatory Observatory reported that a convoy of U.S. armored vehicles was the first of the pullout and was seen leaving the town of Rumelia into neighboring Iraq. That the process of withdrawing from Syria involves driving into Iraq and the U.S. troops are all on the side of Syria closest to the Iraqi border, it once again raises questions of why the pullout is expected to take months instead of just a few hours that such a trip would take. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's fans.fppradio.com. UPI reports in one of his first acts as governor, Florida's Ron DeSantis on Friday ordered the suspension of Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel, who faced blame for his deputy's response to a shooting at Parkland High School that left 17 people dead. Governor DeSantis appointed former Coral Springs Police Sergeant Gregory Toney to replace Israel. Toney is the county's first African-American sheriff. Citing shootings at Fort Lauderdale International Airport in 2017 and Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in 2018, the governor said, Sheriff Israel has repeatedly failed and has demonstrated a pattern of poor leadership, adding these incidents demonstrate Sheriff Israel's repeated incompetence and neglect of duty. In July, a group of survivors and parents from the high school sued Israel along with other school and sheriff's officials for failing to protect students and faculty at the school. The attorney representing the plaintiff said law enforcement choked on February 14th, the day of the shooting. In that case, the judge ruled the critical question the court analyzes is whether defendants had a constitutional duty to protect plaintiffs from the actions of the shooter. For such a duty to exist on the part of defendants, plaintiffs would have to be considered to be in custody. Retired school resource officer Scott Peterson never entered the school building after hearing confessed shooter Nicholas Cruz open fire. In December, the sheriff's office said it planned to change its policies on how deputies respond to active shooters. The policy changes included altering language to indicate officers shall attempt to enter the scene and intervene rather than may. The previous policy stated if real-time intelligence exists, the sole deputy or a team of deputies may enter the area and or structure to preserve life. A supervisor's approval or on-site observation is not required for this decision. Israel, speaking during a news conference after news of his firing, said the motive was about politics, not about Parkland. Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash also features Smart Rewards, a price stabilization mechanism, and a way to encourage long-term holding. Long-term holders are key to the project's success. You can earn Smart Rewards on any address for which you hold the private keys, which holds at least 1,000 Smart for 1 month and does not make any outgoing transactions during that time. Smart Rewards are distributed every 47,500 blocks to all eligible addresses. Learn more at smartcash.cc. Reuters reports President Donald Trump said on Friday he would not declare a national emergency right now to end a standoff over border security that has idled large swaths of the U.S. government, all but guaranteeing that he will preside over the longest shutdown in U.S. history. The dispute has disrupted everything from air travel to tax collection and suspended pay for 800,000 government workers. Trump has repeatedly described the situation at the U.S.-Mexico border as a humanitarian crisis, as speculation has increased this week that he would circumvent Congress to begin building his signature wall, a move that would be sure to draw a court challenge from Democrats who say the barrier would be barbaric and ineffective. Instead, the president urged lawmakers to provide him with $5.7 billion he is seeking for border security. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
A new study finds most high school graduates are woefully unprepared for high school, and a bag of flour has a slave auction on its front. This is the Onion Week in Review. This week, Secretary of Labor Thomas Perez unveiled plans to boost the nation's struggling job market by giving every unemployed American a self-serve yogurt shop, saying that the frozen yogurt business model is robust, profitable, and that they've pretty much exhausted other options. Perez explained that owners will be responsible for stocking their own topping bars with items such as Oreo crumbles, minced kiwi, cashew chews, and gummy bears. Estimates indicate the country will need to increase daily consumption of frozen yogurt by approximately 2.3 gallons per person in order for the new stores to remain solvent. And in this week's local news, something is apparently going on between a mom and her friend. In other news, Taco Bell warns its employees against ever exposing their skin to its food. A sad man tears 2 bananas off of a larger bunch, and a new report finds everything you've ever wanted has been right in front of you all along.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. If you're just tuning in, welcome to the program. We are launching into the third hour here of the live Saturday edition of the show. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Vin.
And Mark.
Don't forget, you can call in toll-free. Our number is 855-450-FREE. Bring up anything that you want. That's 855-450-3733. We've been generally focused on the so-called government shutdown here tonight, which has now entered into its 22nd day, making it a record-length government shutdown, defeating the previous record holder, which was Bill Clinton in 1995. So it's been 23 years since the last record.
Government was a lot smaller then.
The question is, how long's this one going to go for? Trump seems to be dug in, and he seems pretty determined. He's playing political football with people's jobs, and I gotta say, I'm entertained by it. If you are upset about it, well, maybe you don't really care about the fact that the government is an agency of coercive force that threatens people's lives just in order to get them to fund it. And I'm not okay with that. I understand that there are some jobs, like we talked about air traffic control and maybe weatherman or whatever, that could be done without the federal government, that those jobs would still exist if the federal government, we could snap our fingers and then tomorrow wake up and no more federal government at all. No jobs whatsoever, no government agencies.
But Ian, who'll build the roads?
The companies that currently do. It sure as hell isn't the federal government that does any work as far as road building is concerned. And so to come back around, though, to what we were talking about, and we'll get right into your calls, but I said we were going to define what a monopoly was before we went to the news break there, because somebody called in about that, suggesting that Amazon was a monopoly, that these tech companies, some of them are monopolies. And Mark, you said the definition's right there in the word, the root of the word, mono.
Yep.
Right? That's one.
There's one.
And so the definition...
That's a prefix, by the way.
Yeah. The definition is and I don't have it right in front of me here, but it's essentially one company or one organization or one person or whoever it is, one entity.
In a given...
that has total control over a particular
industry,
industry, market, whatever it is that they do. That
usually
there's no
given by the
competitor.
government, by the way. Usually a government is the one that gives a company, because you can't hold a monopoly in anything approaching a free market.
Correct.
Unless you can keep competitors out.
Right. Because if it's a free market, then anybody who wants to can start up their own business and compete with you.
That's right.
Yeah. If you want to look at government-instituted monopolies, start looking at the power pole out in front of your house.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a good example.
The power pole sits on the right-of-way, and the government decides who gets to put the power pole in and who gets to string their stuff on it.
Pretty much. And so the power company is a great example of a government monopoly. In most places, you don't have the choice between one power company or another. It doesn't matter if it's run by the government or run by a private company. Those are typically monopolies, and they're not natural.
Most utilities.
Yeah. Generally true.
Well,
now they've done a little bit of deregulation here in New Hampshire to where you can now pick your power supplier here, but the delivery is still the same.
That's right.
Same company. Yeah. And that hasn't done much to reduce the prices because New Hampshire is insanely high as far as its power rates are concerned. Let's get back into your calls and thoughts. We go first to Sparkles, calling us from Mexico.
Sparkles.
Hello, Sparkles. You're on Free Talk Live.
I don't know why everybody's so down on this government shutdown. I work for the federal government, and I've been on vacation since this thing started. And for us workers that aren't living paycheck to paycheck, it's a great thing because, one, I don't have to take any of my paid time off, and two, I'm just going to get paid after I get back.
So what is the bureaucracy for which you're working?
Well, I don't want to get into all the specific details, but I just want to tell you all that the narrative that the news is making, just makes it sound like everybody's just, broke and we're going to the food banks and everything. And a lot of us that, may not be at the base, the base pay, that may be in the mid-range, are actually enjoying this. And those, again, that have saved up for an event like this, which I don't understand why most of the people don't. If you work for the government, well, I've been having a great time.
I'd point out also that it's not what you make, it's what you spend.
That's right.
So even if, look, man, I've worked for minimum wage, and I understand what it's like being out there and having those kind of that kind of pay. You just got to, you got to cut down on what you spend money on. You don't buy the lavish stuff, and you don't buy things until you can afford it. Don't get into debt.
Exactly. But I just wanted to call and say that real quick because again, like the news is just saying, oh man, these government workers, they can't wait till it's back. They can't wait to go back to work. I'm having a great time, and I went somewhere that is very economical to spend my money on vacation. So I just wanted to call and tell
So
you
you're not normally living in Mexico as a federal government worker?
No. I'm down here just having a good time.
You're literally on vacation. Thanks, Sparkles. Good call, man. I appreciate hearing from you. I appreciate you sharing that perspective. Pointing out that if you've got some financial responsibility,
there you go.
And as he said, saved up for an event like this, knowing that it's happened before.
It happens every year, Ian.
I don't know if it's every year.
Dude, they get at least close to a government shutdown, or for a couple days over the weekend, almost every year.
Yeah, they definitely do come close. They do make a play at it sometimes.
And it's also, what's the cap? The
spending cap.
The spending cap taxation.
The debt ceiling.
Debt ceiling, that's the one. That thing's ridiculous. What's the point of a debt ceiling if you keep on knocking the thing up? How about y'all pay off some of your bills? I mean, the rest of us out here, we're doing our best to, pay down debt. And what's the federal government doing? Setting a pretty poor example for the rest of us.
I agree.
We continue here. We've got Frank in North Carolina listening online. Go ahead, Frank.
Hey, I was calling to what your thoughts were on legalizing marijuana. What you guys thought about
What do you think about it, Frank?
Yeah, that would be my question, is that this is Free Talk Live. Frank, what do you think about legalizing marijuana?
I think it's great. I think it really helps people, and I think it's a great medication.
Is there anything going in North Carolina as far as like state changes on that front? Do you know?
No, not that I know of.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be hard to find people who are actually against this these days, because even the conservatives are starting to see the light on this issue. They're seeing the tax money that they can get in.
Salivating. That's the thing. I have no problem with marijuana. I am a big marijuana advocate. However, I do have a problem with legalization, which means taxation and regulation. I don't believe that I have the right to violently restrict another individual from being able to grow and consume plants.
Right.
And
trade.
And that includes trading it, that includes possessing it. And the bottom line is, legalization, that's a misnomer, because I just came from a legalized state of Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
If you're under 21 and you're walking around with weed on you, you're a criminal.
Yep, still illegal.
It's still illegal. If you're growing and you don't have the grower's permit,
you're going to get raided.
You're a criminal.
Yep.
So I forgive those that have taken the steps to go as far as we have with marijuana legalization, because I understand the baby steps that might be necessary in doing this. Florida recently made it so that felons can vote, except for sex offenders and murderers. Why? Because it was easier.
Right.
It's easier to say, people who get out of prison have done their time. Should vote. Well, what about the baby rapers and the killers? Well, you want people who are baby rapers and killers to be able to vote? No, we've excluded them. So now that argument's just off the table. And maybe at some point or another, somebody will pass a rule that says, hey, anybody who has to pay taxes should be able to vote. There are states in this country, several of them, where if you're in jail, you can vote.
Yeah.
You vote, in many cases, at your home district where you came from previously, just like the military does. And
I think you should be able to.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, but
should vote against the scum who made the laws that put you in jail.
Certainly, if you get out, you're working and paying taxes and these sorts of things, I think we can all agree, you should be able to vote. I mean, it's a mathematically insignificant act.
Yeah. Sure.
So what's the point anyway? Who cares? And the outcomes, I haven't voted in a national election where my vote has ever made an outcome change anyway, so what's the point?
All right, the toll-free number, if you want to join us on the radio, you can talk about whatever's on your minds. The number's 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash also features smart rewards, a price stabilization mechanism, and a way to encourage long-term holding. Long-term holders are key to the project's success. You can earn smart rewards on any address for which you hold the private keys, which holds at least 1,000 smart for 1 month and does not make any outgoing transactions during that time. Smart rewards are distributed every 47,500 blocks to all eligible addresses. Learn more at smartcash.cc.
You want to know the 37 items you must have to survive a crisis? Then I've got some good news for you. Former CIA officer and New York Times best-selling author Jason Hansen is now giving listeners a free copy of his book, The Escape Bag Blueprint, 37 Items You Must Have to Survive a Crisis. You can claim your copy at freeescapebook.com. Don't delay. Jason reveals the guns, knives, flashlights, and water filters that could save your life in an economic collapse or grid-down event. Get your free book today, freeescapebook.com. freeescapebook.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
The warning signs.
At first, he made me feel special. He promised he'd look after me, provide for my future. He broke every promise he made.
Millions of Americans afflicted.
I was ready to leave, but he told me he'd change. So I gave him another chance. I was such a fool.
The consequences.
Things only got worse. He started making my decisions for me, about my job, my kids' education, my money, my safety, my future. He took away my choices, but I kept going back to the same politicians.
The diagnosis? Battered voter syndrome.
I fell for the same old lies. They were just playing with my emotions, telling me what I wanted to hear. That's not right.
If you're tired of the two-party system but want to support a principled Libertarian Party, check out the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire at lpnh.org. That's lpnh.org. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at lrn.fm? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at lrn.fm. That's lrn.fm. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You dial in toll free. Bring up what you want here on this live Saturday edition of the show. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You know, we talk about cryptocurrencies here on Free Talk Live. Vin, you're always looking in the world of crypto over on your website, vinarmani.com. Also, you've got a great Twitter account at vinarmani. Smartcash.cc. That is one of our newest sponsors here on Free Talk Live. And there are a lot of choices in the world of cryptocurrency. Many of them, like Smart Cash, claim to be fast and secure and easy to use. So, you know, that's a given for a lot of these. But one of the things that Smart Cash is doing that I thought was pretty neat is the governance structure. This is some of the things that cryptos have been experimenting with, where they want to decentralize the governance of the cryptocurrency, get it out of the hands of the few and put it into the hands of the people that actually hold the crypto. Some cryptos have only done this for people that are wealthy, meaning they're holding a lot, like $100,000 worth of a certain crypto. In the case of Smart Cash, if you got one smart, which right now a smart's less than 2 cents, if you have one smart, you have a vote. So if you've got 1,000 smart, you got 1,000 votes, basically. So
I think I might have 1,000 smart.
It's not hard to get 1,000 smart.
I think I might have.
If you've got $20, basically, you've got more than 1,000 smart at this point. So it's easy to get in at this point. You can go to smartcash.cc, and that allows you through their official wallet. So you can get their full node for whatever computer, full computer you've got, or you can get their mobile wallet, and you can actually vote through their wallet, which is super handy. It's super easy to use. So that's cool because it's actually making it so everybody who's got smart can participate in the governance of Smart Cash. And it was the voters of Smart Cash who approved the advertising package for Free Talk Live. So
there you go.
Thank you to the folks who are behind the smart, because not every crypto sees the value in Free Talk Live. We came on to a different one, made a pitch to a different one before we pitched Smart Cash, and even though we'd talked to them at the Texas Bitcoin conference and had a good time with their heads, the people who were into the crypto, they didn't get it. They didn't see the value, and Smart Cash did. So, in fact, they're coming on with all these Liberty shows, like Ben Swann's Reality Check.
That's right.
Adam Kokesh and our very own Darryl W. Perry. He's got his newscast being sponsored by Smart Cash now. So it seems like there's some libertarians behind the scenes there, or at least holding Smart Cash. So I think that's a good sign. When the Liberty movement's behind a crypto, that gives it some extra oomph in my book.
Yeah, I heard of Bitcoin. Started with it was a libertarian project, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a strong argument. Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever that person or persons is or are, is very libertarian. Also, they have smart rewards, which means if you're holding on to your keys, if you have a wallet where you're in control of the keys, and you've got at least 1,000 smart for at least a month, and during that time you didn't make outgoing transactions, so encouraging you to hold the smart, you'll get smart rewards that are distributed roughly every month. Over at smartcash.cc, that's where you can learn more. Let's go and continue with your calls and thoughts. I've got Rusty. He's on the line in Indianapolis listening to WIBC FM. Hello, Rusty. Sorry about that. We got you now. I had you muted. You're on.
Okay. Hi, how are you?
Good. You're on the air.
Okay, so what I was curious about is, I heard you guys mentioning, felons in the voting in Florida, and this is something coming from me that I've always wondered. I've worked, I spent 2 years in corrections at the county level. I've been a pretty strong libertarian. One of the things that's always bothered me is that we get a lot of guys in law enforcement community that say, uphold the Constitution, support the Constitution, et cetera, but in the Second Amendment, shall not be infringed applies to everybody. It doesn't, exclude specifically felons. So felons aren't allowed to own firearms, and I don't personally see why that's the case. And I think it's something.
And that's as a corrections or former corrections officer. I totally agree, but we actually have a felon in the room. Mark, you want to weigh in?
Sadly, I am. So, I've spent 8.5 years in prison. I was finally released by the Florida Supreme Court, but it wasn't an exoneration by, it was just a release. And as a result, it's illegal for me to own a firearm, what is defined as a firearm in all 50 states. And
it's been 20 years, by the way, since you've been...
Right. It's been 20 years. What was that, Rusty?
Well, I was going to say exactly, but when you think about it, it's to ask everybody that may be listening that is, thinking, well, why should a felon be able to own a firearm?
It's a great question.
Why should a felon had their right to self-defense taken away from them.
Well, I think that
done versus anybody else.
The first thing is I like to do it this way. I feel like I've got a good angle for this. First off, I understand completely why people are like, well, we shouldn't just hand AK-47s to people as they walk out of prison. I gotcha, but and if somebody wants a half step here, how about everybody who's been off of any kind of supervision for 5 years without any repeats, how about they get to own a gun? I mean, that seems like something that most people could live with. But the reality is that I could go get a gun tonight if I really want one.
Yep.
So this law isn't preventing me from getting a gun.
Nope.
It's preventing me from getting a gun legally. So if you outlaw guns, then only outlaws have guns. Well, if you outlaw outlaws having guns, only outlaws have guns.
That's right.
So basically, what you're saying is that I can't live a good legal life and protect my family. I can't do both of those things.
Right.
And if it's okay for you to protect your family, then it should be okay for me to protect my family. And otherwise, I am, I'm left as this somehow lesser citizen. And maybe people don't care about that, but the reality is if I wanted a gun, I could go get a gun. They're not stopping me from getting a gun. So that means all they're doing is charging people who, if their only charge is felon in possession of a firearm, then they didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
There's no victim.
If they're robbing a liquor store, then they're robbing a liquor store, and we have laws for that.
Right.
This is an extra law that we don't need. And there's no particular point in having it. And ultimately, that's that.
Agreed.
I just thought about bringing that up because, it's something for people to think about, that, consider that when they go to vote, that it's something that should be brought up with your congressman. I mean, felons, just because they're felons, most felons are nonviolent. The felons that are violent go to prison for 15, 20 years, sometimes more. If you go to prison for a nonviolent felony, there's absolutely no reason at all that the average, logical person would see for you to have your right to firearms taken away.
Well, Mark, you went to prison for a violent felony.
Yeah, even if you're in for a violent felony. Honestly, if you're safe to release, they're saying you're done. You've paid your debt, and so it's legal for me to own a black powder pistol, right? Every felon in America can own a black powder pistol. Can anyone show me the rash of black powder of liquor stores being knocked over with people with black powder pistols? It's because having it legal doesn't make a difference. It's a stupid law. If it made a difference to a felon, well, I can't knock over this liquor store with an illegal pistol. I better use my legal one.
Yeah. My pirate pistol.
God, it's so dumb.
Good call tonight, Rusty. Thanks for bringing that up. I definitely appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE.
If you don't even have to have a round of these black powder pistols. You shoot this thing, you just set them on fire.
Funny.
Whoa! 50 caliber ball, bang, 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 bang down the tube.
Plenty of time for you if you want to jump on here. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. Unfortunately, not enough people consider the rights of felons. They just consider, it's a felon is a bad guy.
Well, it's just
not necessarily.
There's no winning this one because nobody cares. They've got too many things to worry about. This is not the first place they want to go.
The toll-free number tonight is 855-450-FREE. Well, there are some people who care. There are people who want to reform the prison system and all that. More on the way. It's Free Talk Live.
Anytime, any place, anywhere. Radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise at gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. Live Saturday edition. Toll-free number here for you is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can join our Free Talk Live email list. Just go to freetalklive.com. You'll find the email sign-up box right there on the front page, toward the top, kind of in the middle of the site. Should be pretty obvious.
It's great because you get announcements for the new stations we're on. You know, in some cases, announcements for the show, like Mark Dice's Hair Green.
I put the link to that video in the announcement that went out today.
Yeah, all kinds of sales for ads. So if we've got a sale on or something, we might mention that in there. Lots of good reasons why you'd want the newsletter. And just go to, what is it? Newsletter.freetalklive?
No, you can just go to freetalklive.com.
Okay.
It's right there on the front page. Should be pretty obvious. Toward the top, in the middle, you'll see it. As we continue, we'll take your calls and thoughts. Ian, Vin, and Mark in the studio. Let's go first to Reno, listening in Texas. Where you at in Texas there, Reno? You over in Texarkana?
No, I'm in Amarillo.
I apologize about that. Welcome. You're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, I really appreciate everything you guys are saying. I voted for Donald Trump, and I think that when he ran, the reason he was so popular, he was talking about he's going to give the government back to the people and everybody. He struck a chord with everybody, but I'm disappointed. If he doesn't get this wall, at least he's standing his ground on this wall thing, because they know that if he don't, he's already losing some confidence in his base, especially banning bump stocks and his talk about the red flag laws, when he said that, they already have a law in place. He was talking about the Lautenberg Amendment, which
I'm a little lost. Red flag laws?
Yeah, red flag laws. So they didn't pass them in Texas, but a lot of states did. That's like if your neighbor, if you just start acting funny, your wife can call, and they can come and just, without due process, just come and take your guns.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they passed away because they get federal money to the states. But I'm really disappointed. He was on the right track, and I really appreciate you guys. In the Constitution, it says that any law that's contrary to the Constitution is null and void.
Yeah.
And these guys, the Boston Tea Party, everything that I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm a constitutional conservative, and I'm independent. And if we would get back to what the Constitution, these guys, you're right, exactly right, what you were saying earlier. They're thieves, they're nothing but legalized crooks.
Well, how about this, Reno? Because I'm not convinced that even if you went so-called back to the Constitution, that anything would really. I mean, yes, in theory, the government would get smaller.
Oh, yeah. I mean, going back to the Constitution, as unlikely as it is, would be a huge, shrinking of the government.
But don't you just come right back to where we are? Because we started with the Constitution and we've come to here.
The Constitution is the highest law in the land, but laws are basically void if they have no punishment. And the Constitution is supposed to be binds on the government, so it should have punishments for politicians that violate it.
But the politicians aren't going to punish themselves.
But they're not going to do that. I mean, they don't have, nothing has to happen to them. You start chopping a few heads off.
But here's what I wanted to say, though, Reno, is that, as Vin pointed out, the Constitution has either authorized the government we currently have today, or it's been powerless to prevent it. Either way, it's not fit to stand. So shouldn't we just forget about this whole experiment, forget about trying to get back to the Constitution, this sort of unattainable vision that, it's not going to happen. But let's just put that aside and say, the federal government has been an abject failure from top to bottom. Let's just abolish the federal government entirely and just go with 50 states. How's that sound?
Well, I understand what you're saying, and I appreciate it. I know where you're coming from, but the thing is, how about this as a thought?
Wouldn't you want to see, though? I mean, before you go on, wouldn't you want to see Texas as an independent nation?
No, I would like to see. What I would like to see is then people like the Lautenberg Amendment is really what I want to call about. You can have you were talking about a felony. They're taking your gun rights away. Well, a misdemeanor domestic violence. Frank Lautenberg, he's dead now, thank God. But they passed that law under Bill Clinton, and the Clintons are criminals, and some of the Bushes. But what we got is legalized criminals up in Washington D.C.
Well, what is the Lautenberg Amendment? I'm not familiar with it.
It's domestic violence where you get a misdemeanor. You could just shove your wife. She calls in, and you get a misdemeanor domestic violence, and you lose your gun rights for life.
Oh,
and
that's one of those things. Okay.
Wow.
And it's retroactive. They did repeal it for a short period, but it's been on the books for 20 years now. And so, but you lose your gun rights for life and they. That's through the federal government. Even if the states give you your gun rights back after time, you still lose it for life.
You're not making a strong argument to have a federal government around. I mean, why do you want to keep this thing around?
No, I don't want to keep it around. What I'm saying is that these people that they're elected through the states, our representatives in Congress are elected through the states and sent there. And people vote these fools into office.
They do.
And they need to make a law or pass a bill that these people they need to be punished for violating the Constitution.
I'm with you. I think you're absolutely right. Now, Ian, I say, if somebody wants to get back to the Constitution, I agree with them and I support them. You know why? Because it's as unlikely as abolishing the federal government. I mean, that's what you come on here on the radio and you advocate for. Seriously, you think that that's more likely than returning to the Constitution?
I think it's more likely that you could secede for sure. I don't know about abolishing them, but if enough people secede, then they're basically done for.
It's like guessing the color of a unicorn. I'm I'm sorry, it doesn't make a difference. It's not going to happen.
What, secession's not going to happen?
The United States government is
it's happened before, and it can happen again, son. The South will rise again.
Look, I understand. There can be secession, but that doesn't mean the federal government goes away.
Doesn't matter. If enough states
the federal government goes away in your life if you're in a state.
No, it doesn't. Ask people in other countries what it's like, whether the United States federal government has an effect on their life, and you will find the United States government funds their government to the tune of passport laws and all kinds of immigration laws and all kinds of things.
If one state secedes, it will create a domino effect.
That's true.
Other states, because again, the big fear is when it comes to secession, and you guys in Texas should know this, Reno, because it was that Texas proposal that got 100,000 signatures. Remember when Obama got reelected in 2012? There was that petition that said, "Hey, can we leave?" And Obama was like, "Nope, we settled that in the Civil War." That was the actual official
kill people.
That was the actual official response from the federal government. Was nope, that was settled in the Civil War. So people are afraid the federal government's going to turn its guns against a state that secedes, and I think that's a legitimate fear. But if whatever state it is, whether it's California, Texas, New Hampshire, Vermont, Hawaii, these are some of the more, I think, states that are moving in some direction with this over time, hopefully. But if one of them goes first and they're not raided, there's not tanks rolled in, bombs dropped, if there's not an incredibly violent response on the part of the federal government, then another state's going to follow and another state's going to follow. And before you know it, the federal government will be down to 25 states or 20 states or whatever.
But those states will just make agreements with each other, which is what the federal government is anyway. It's a free trade zone and a military, is what it was intended to be under the Constitution. And so then you'll have the Republican states of America and the Democratic states of America, more or less.
Sounds like an improvement. Thank you, Reno, for the call tonight. I appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. But yes, I think a state seceding is inevitably more potentially doable than ending the federal government entirely.
I would rather see the federal government turned into, what I just said, a free trade zone amongst the states, and then, some kind of the military is funded by a certain amount, 0.1% of GDP or whatever it is.
Why would you want a military? Why can't each state just provide for their own defense?
Because at this point, people just have an expectation of militaries. You don't want Ohio going to war with
Michigan. Well, let them have their own military
again.
Then. If you want to fund your own military, then you put the money up and you buy the bombers. And you do a little GoFundMe or something like that.
NATO already exists. There are already organizations of compiled militaries. I mean,
So you don't need to have a one-size-fits-all military.
Right. So you wouldn't even have the United States, because with that kind of loose federation where it's just a free trade zone and that sort of thing, you'd see Mexican states and Canadian states and frankly a good portion of Europe. Everybody who's in NATO basically would just say, this is a better deal than what we've currently got going. We'll go for that.
If it's a voluntary solution, then I support it. If it's confiscatory, if it's based on...
States tend not to be voluntary, but I'd love to see voluntary.
Then if it's based on violence, then I cannot support it, because that's what it means to be a libertarian, is to adhere to the non-aggression principle. It's not okay to use aggressive force against our neighbors, no matter what the reason. There's more coming up in moments. It's Free Talk Live.
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories. While I say these hobgoblins are imaginary, I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Introducing Reveal from GCNlife.com. Beverly Hills dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman invented Reveal, which contains polypeptides with natural botanicals and no parabens, sulfates, silicones, or dyes for a salon-quality hair growth product. Reveal. Here's Dr. Newman.
I have treated a lot of patients who lose their hair and they lose their confidence. We've created a unique set of polypeptides, which we call HPT6. The HPT6 contains contains the polypeptides from 6 different plants. The scalp infusion treatment should be used on wet or dry scalp. The Reveal hair care system is designed to be used for men and women alike.
Get Reveal at GCNlife.com with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So try Reveal today at GCNlife.com or 844-443-6637. Plus a discount up to 25% off for Reveal at GCNlife.com or 844-443-6637.
Are you about to meet the media? If you're about to be interviewed, do their homework for them. Know this about the person who will interview you. He or she is busy, so expect minimal, if any, preparation. He or she doesn't know as much about your topic as you do. He or she isn't as concerned as you are about getting your message out, so you need to take responsibility. Provide a biography and fact sheet, photographs, or other materials that tell your story. Reporters won't be put off if you supply frequently asked questions. Remember, Public Speaking 101, at the end of the speech, what's the one thing you want them to remember? You can download the document I supply to reporters who interview me and squirm through a video that demonstrates how not to conduct your media interview at www.survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Moments remain. Enough time maybe for you if you're already on the lines. If you're not, I probably shouldn't give you the number because we've got at least a handful of folks have been waiting here. We're going to get them on here if we can. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Vin.
And Mark.
Don't forget to check out Vin over on his Twitter account, which is at Vin Armani.
That's right.
We've also got social media, including Twitter. You can go to twitter.freetalklive.com. You'll find us there. But if you'd prefer, and I'd prefer, honestly, if you would follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform over at toot.freetalklive.com. They're not called tweets there, they're toots. So go to toot.freetalklive.com. You can follow us there. And looks like Gene the Christian Anarchist, according to the chat room over at the Discord server, discord.lrn.fm, he made the mistake of signing up for his Mastodon account from the default Mastodon social website. No. And that's run by basically a bunch of leftists from France and Germany. So they ended up banning his account for saying offensive things about the government. He's Gene the Christian Anarchist. Right. I mean, everything he says is basically anti-government. And so I guess somebody reported him to that Mastodon server and they banned him. And he was confused. Like, well, I thought this was, more freedom-oriented. No. It's decentralized, which means that anybody who runs a server, a Mastodon server,
there you go,
they get to decide what the rules are. So they could have an extremely strict server.
Freedom of association, man.
But there's also thousands of other servers out there that have different rules. So the one I'm on is the Liberdon server. It's liberdon.com. That's the one where the Free Talk Live has its account. Now, who knows? The Liberdon server might get a stick up his butt and decide that he wants to go totalitarian and just start deleting accounts. There's always that possibility, in which case you could always just start your own server.
Fork off.
So, yeah, you could totally do that. And that's what makes Mastodon a great platform because no one is in charge of everything. everything.
I like that.
The only thing you're in charge of is if you are a server admin, you decide, do you want your server to connect to all the other servers? Also, the other servers get to decide whether they want to reciprocate that to you as well. So if there's like a Nazi server and you don't want to connect to that, you don't have to.
Sounds best.
So yeah, you can exclude whichever connections to whichever bad servers that you want, which is, again, that's called federation. So it's decentralized and federated. So check it out over at toot.freetalklive.com. We've also got Telegram. You can follow our Telegram channel for updates there too, if you prefer that, at telegram.freetalklive.com. So 3 choices. All 3 of them get the same content, basically. So it's up to you how you want to follow us. We go to more of your calls and thoughts here. He is Richard, listening to Indianapolis's WIBC FM. Hello, Richard.
Oh, hello. Initially, my comment was something you had said in passing, going to commercial, about people in jail voting. It is legal in all states, and all the people, yes, and it's freedom. It's the idea that you're innocent until proven guilty. If you are in jail, you could be in the middle of a horrendous trial. If you have not yet been convicted, if you have not yet been found guilty,
that's true.
You can absentee vote.
That's true. And, I actually did that when I was in jail, being held once upon a time. I looked into absentee voting there. But yeah, you're right. So if you have not been convicted yet, you can still vote. But I think we were talking about people who had been convicted in that particular case.
Well, even then, if you've been convicted of a felony, you'll be in the prison. If you're sitting in the jail, you're probably sitting there for a misdemeanor, and you should still be able to vote.
Is that true? Do they do all states allow misdemeanor convicts to vote in jail?
I certainly would not. I'm not an expert on that, but I will say that there are felons that receive, what they call 1129, which is basically 1 year convictions, and they do sit in jail and they'll work as trustees and those sorts of things. But yeah, I think that I think it's worth calling and pointing this out.
Yep. Richard, anything else you want to share?
Facts are always great.
Yeah. Yeah, as I was sitting here, your show progressed. You were talking about felons with firearms.
Yeah.
Now, if you want a felon to come out and rehab his life, and he comes out and he starts a business, and you're not going to let him have a gun to defend his cash register. I mean, the denial of the felon based on the felony deny him on his actions, on his behaviors. But if you got a guy coming out, do you realize there are 27,000 laws and regulations and ordinances that control the kind of jobs that ex-cons can get? This country is very bigoted and limited. And anyway, I'm going to leave you with a
great call tonight, Richard. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. And he's right. The felons, they have it tough, and it's bad enough. The job opportunities are slim.
Well, it's hard enough to get out of prison.
Yeah,
and turn to the United States prison system is kind of messed up, right? Let's take a bunch of bad people, put them in a bad place, treat them badly for an extended period of time, and then let them out, and then put a larger amount of restrictions than they had when they went in on them, and then if they mess up in the slightest way, wham, they're back in. It's really it's like it's the most rigged game of Mother May I.
There's so many guys in jail and in prison for violation of probation. I mean, it's insane, and most of it's for smoking pot and pissing dirty or whatever. After that.
Well, I don't know what the percentages are, but either way, no matter what your crime was, regardless, the idea is that they want you to get out and be a good person. And it's not the easiest thing in the world if you don't let them pursue the careers that they want. And I mean, at some point or another, a person becomes dejected and demoralized, and then maybe they'll commit crimes again.
Angry.
And then you're all like, see? Well, no, that's not exactly the way this works.
Yeah, they created those circumstances for that person. Let's go to Delma, listening to WIBC FM in Indianapolis. Hey, Delma.
Yes, I totally believe that we are not considering everything in a reasonable course of our thought. I believe everything matters, and I have begun to wonder in the last 2 years if the truth is acceptable and who wants to hear it.
Well, what is the truth?
Yes. Well, honey, I met some fellow on the. I don't know how you would do it, but he was on the road illegally, and he got a fraud case that he got a whole bunch of money, and I'm the one that's obeying the law, and he got the fraud money from my good insurance. So,
I am totally confused. That story was very disjointed. Can you try to recap that for me in a way that I could maybe understand as quickly as you
I
can?
think she got in an accident, is what she's. Are you saying you got in an accident?
Well, yes, I was involved in an incident, and this man was already on the road, uninsured, and I don't know how I'm supposed to obey the law and avoid this person I don't know that's on the road, and then he lies to the policeman, and this all gets screwed up. And so he got $9,000 out of my account, and neither one of us were cited.
How did he get $9,000 out of your account? And what account?
Out of my insurance. My insurance was in place.
So this is an insurance fraud case. This person told a lie and managed to confuse both the police and the insurance investigator?
Yes, and I wonder how there were no citations for either one of us, and they took his word and paid him the $9,000 for the car that he wrecked into mine. And I'm really upset about it. So I just don't know where the truth is going to come, but I'm going to fight until I get the truth.
Yeah, I don't know where you can go with something like that. If somebody, and thank you for the call,
the insurance company would be the place I'd go.
But I mean, it sounds like the insurance companies were already involved.
Yeah.
So
they paid.
Yeah,
right. So maybe there's something you're missing, Delma, that wasn't real clear to you, but was clear to them. Maybe they didn't do a good job of explaining it, or maybe you didn't do a good job of explaining your side. Thanks for the call tonight, Marianne, listening in California to KGOE. Hello, Marianne.
Yes, thank you. I'm on the telephone. I don't have a computer or smartphone, etc.
All right.
But I just found KGOE here in Eureka.
Yes.
Eureka! And I was happy to find them because I have family in Southern California that listens to Thom Hartmann.
Oh, Thom Hartmann. Yeah. Now, that's one of the more successful liberal talk show hosts. He's one of the few.
One of the few
progressive talk show hosts that's actually still on the air, because most of those shows have just died off.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, well, I'm very interested in his book. Learned a lot of things that happened in my lifetime that I never knew happened. I was interested in his book, The Crash of 2016. And then...
was he talking about Trump? Is Trump the crash of 2016? I haven't read, honestly.
It has to do with... in the 1970s, and Alec.
Well, there you go, Mary. She's giving you a book recommendation. Whether you want to read Thom Hartmann's book or not, it's another question. I'll pass on it, but thank you for the call tonight. It's a great station we've been on out there in Eureka for many years. One of the few progressive talk stations left.
Do you want a book recommendation? I say Free Private Cities by Titus Gables.
In the United States. We'll see you tomorrow online in the meantime at freetalklive.com. Have a great weekend.
This is Free Talk Live, the show where anyone can call about whatever they want. And we do mean anyone.
Sunfest is on the line in California.
Yeah, the greatest danger is that they're destroying the sun and the earth.
Whoa. Slow down, Sunfest. Slow down. Who is destroying the sun?
The economy. Everything that's happening is a job hunt. It's a job tax.
What are you talking about?
Definitely. The sun is waning, the water is rising, and we need the sun to dry it. When you have an economy that's creating jobs on a war scale, 24 hours a day, the cosmos can't keep up with it, let alone the sun. There's Dark Andromeda, which is hurling at us. If you're not informed, you can go out and get the information.
That's our name tonight.
Stop your sexist attack on women, whereas you can hear anything
you
that
are
the men
so
have to say.
outrageous.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
The latest episode of Questioning Authority is next after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, January 12th, 2019. Silver is trading at $15.60 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,288 per ounce. Smart cash is trading at 1.27 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $3,655. Antiwar.com reports the U.S. military has announced that the process of withdrawing the estimated 2,000 U.S. troops in Syria has officially begun. They say there will be no specifics reported on numbers or timelines because of operational security. This follows a week of speculation about the process and comes just a day after Pentagon officials said that there had been no change in the timeline despite John Bolton's weekend talk of making the pullout conditional. And while the military isn't giving any specifics, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights is. The observatory reported that a convoy of U.S. armored vehicles was the first of the pullout and was seen leaving the town of Rumailian into neighboring Iraq. That the process of withdrawing from Syria involves driving into Iraq and the U.S. troops are all on the side of Syria closest to the Iraqi border, it once again raises questions of why the pullout is expected to take months instead of just a few hours that such a trip would take. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's fans.fppradio.com. UPI reports in one of his first acts as governor, Florida's Ron DeSantis on Friday ordered the suspension of Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel, who faced blame for his deputy's response to a shooting at Parkland High School that left 17 people dead. Governor DeSantis appointed former Coral Springs Police Sergeant Gregory Toney to replace Israel. Toney is the county's first African-American sheriff. Citing shootings at Fort Lauderdale International Airport in 2017 and Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in 2018, the governor said, Sheriff Israel has repeatedly failed and has demonstrated a pattern of poor leadership, adding these incidents demonstrate Sheriff Israel's repeated incompetence and neglect of duty. In July, a group of survivors and parents from the high school sued Israel along with other school and sheriff's officials for failing to protect students and faculty at the school. The attorney representing the plaintiff said law enforcement choked on February 14th, the day of the shooting. In that case, the judge ruled the critical question the court analyzes is whether defendants had a constitutional duty to protect plaintiffs from the actions of the shooter. For such a duty to exist on the part of defendants, plaintiffs would have to be considered to be in custody. Retired school resource officer Scott Peterson never entered the school building after hearing confessed shooter Nicholas Cruz open fire. In December, the sheriff's office said it planned to change its policies on how deputies respond to active shooters. The policy changes included altering language to indicate officers shall attempt to enter the scene and intervene rather than may. The previous policy stated if real-time intelligence exists, the sole deputy or a team of deputies may enter the area and or structure to preserve life. A supervisor's approval or on-site observation is not required for this decision. Israel, speaking during a news conference after news of his firing, said the motive was about politics, not about Parkland. Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash also features smart rewards, a price stabilization mechanism, and a way to encourage long-term holding. Long-term holders are key to the project's success. You can earn smart rewards on any address for which you hold the private keys, which holds at least 1,000 smart for 1 month and does not make any outgoing transactions during that time. Smart rewards are distributed every 47,500 blocks to all eligible addresses. Learn more at smartcash.cc. Reuters reports President Donald Trump said on Friday he would not declare a national emergency right now to end a standoff over border security that has idled large swaths of the U.S. government, all but guaranteeing that he will preside over the longest shutdown in U.S. history. The dispute has disrupted everything from air travel to tax collection and suspended pay for 800,000 government workers. Trump has repeatedly described the situation at the U.S.-Mexico border as a humanitarian crisis, as speculation has increased this week that he would circumvent Congress to begin building his signature wall, a move that would be sure to draw a court challenge from Democrats who say the barrier would be barbaric and ineffective. Instead, the president urged lawmakers to provide him with $5.7 billion he is seeking for border security. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Florida officials announced today its plan to experiment with new 600-lever voting machines.
The machine operates through a very straightforward process that we think is going to give Floridians the peace of mind that their votes will be counted. The voter turns on the machine using these 30 levers at the top and then enters their names and social security numbers using the alphanumeric levers near the bottom here. Right about now, the voter's going to have to find the two levers on the machine that are exactly identical and pull them at the same time. Then they're going to have to...
The new 22-foot-tall steam-powered machines, which officials are hailing as, quote, the future of voting, each feature over 45 separate panels of levers, along with an intricate series of valves, knobs, cranks, and pumps, all designed to streamline the electoral process.
Now, some of this may seem confusing, but every voter will be given a comprehensive 2,200-page manual when they enter their precinct that will explain exactly what to do.
This is the Onion News Network.
Yeah, I'm recording on my phone, so you all know what that means. Unfortunately, due to a severe case of melancholic depression, I didn't have the inspiration to do either a live show or a pre-recorded show, and also I was sort of banking on the fact that Trump would do something interesting on his Oval Office address, but he didn't do anything